Welcome back, everyone, to Ignite Playoffs Stage 1. Next stop is Elimination Station. Unfortunately, that means that some of our teams are going to be disembarking. But whose stop is it going to be? There's only one way to find out, and that's by getting into the action. But one thing I know for sure is that it's going to be a partner team that we say goodbye to today.
Yep, both of these teams are, in fact, partnered here in the Americas region. 100 Thieves up against FlyQuest. You could argue, like, FlyQuest definitely having the biggest glow up in terms of, I feel like, all of the partner teams, right? Overhauling that entire roster, trying to build around Melio and Tuzi has done wonders so far. Whereas 100 Thieves definitely riding on that playoff buff. I feel like every time 100 Thieves are in the playoffs, they get some sort of supercharged buff and just go on an absolute tear in the playoffs. But me personally, I feel like this is where the buff starts to dry up.
And let's be perfectly clear. The T stands for Thieves, not anything else. It is 100 Thieves. We're not here to disparage any of the teams. And how can you disparage teams when there's this much talent, right? Like, you have some incredible, crazy talented people. The Lana on the hit scan has been a sight to behold. Self's Daredevil has been stellar, and then you have TTK, who, regardless of how well 100 Thieves has been doing in playoffs and group stage, wherever, somehow he's always still in the conversation for one of the best Vanguard players in the world. And, I think that's just a testament to his talent. Is like, all right, yeah, it doesn't really matter how the rest of the team is doing because I know I'm popping off.
Yeah, and the entire team of 100 Thieves, they need to make something happen here in the playoffs to, at the very least, give themselves another lifeline to get into that midseason finals. Keep in mind, there is only one spot left. Every other team that is going to the midseason finals are already locked and loaded. And now, right now, the Americas, this is where we see that final chair being filled in the table of the midseason final.
And like, what a world it would be if it wasn't a partner team. If it wasn't if it wasn't 100 Thieves, if it wasn't FlyQuest, or if Yeah We Lost or Stick Drift end up taking that throne. And we're gonna have those two playing a little bit later on, but the winner of that matchup at some point is going to have a date with the winner of this one, and that is going to be an interesting one. But we will see who that ends up being, as there will only be one team left yet to qualify and only one partner team left to potentially claim that spot after this matchup. Let's talk a little bit about the other side. Let's talk a little bit about FlyQuest. And you want to talk about glow-ups. FlyQuest have absolutely had one of the most impressive glow-ups from preseason up until now, and a big part of that comes from this new Vanguard lineup. Cart and Techie have given a new identity to this team.
I mean, Cart coming in from Yeah We Lost, being that staple Hulk player on YWO, now being brought over to FlyQuest. And Cart was given the opportunity to work on that hero pool, and he has done just that. He has looked very solid on the Captain America, the Angela, and the Venom as well, whereas Techie, the fact that he went unsigned in Ignite preseason is an absolute crime. Absolute crime. Bro is actually might be one of the best Vanguards, maybe even the entire region, like maybe right below Holly and Vest, and he has performed so well and allowing the rest of the team, right? Tuzi going absolutely ballistic on things like the Alice of Bloodstones. Sometimes it's been the Star-Lord, and FlyQuest have been just riding that high ever since they made it into playoffs.
Yeah, like, Tuzi is definitely going to be a major player to watch, especially on that aforementioned Elsa Bloodstone, because he was one of the best at it back when she was meta, and now that she's starting to come back into the fold, Tuzi at the helm has been putting on show after show every single time he picks up that hero. And it's like, all right, you want to ban out the Cyclops to take away the most busted hit scan in the game? I got something even more busted that you forgot about. Let me remind you how the taste of this elephant gun feels.
And FlyQuest, can they get it done? We get a head-to-head between the hard carry of 100 Thieves up against the hard carry of FlyQuest. I mean, you could see how much more Tuzi has been doing in the KCA department, right? 97 eliminations, only 37 casualties, but 15 assists. Not too bad, but the final hits is where the impact is.
Yeah, but speaking of impact, like, you can't just discount that 28.6k damage on the Hello, right? Like, if the Cyclops gets banned out, we started to see, and Delena's been at the forefront of this movement as well, we started to see some of the hit scan players gravitate towards the Hela rather than the Phoenix, and Delena's damage numbers when it comes to the Hela, man, they are next level, and even though the sample size hasn't been as big as some of his performances on things like the Star-Lord or the Bucky or some of these other heroes, in the small amount of time that he has played Hela, he has made his presence felt, and you can see, like, right now he's on TikTok right now.
He looks a little tired.
Yeah, he looks chill. He's just chilling. He's not overthinking it. He's calm, collected. He's ready to go in, and he's ready to click. He's ready to click heads. And maybe
he's
have a
ready
little
to go to
nap
bed. He wants the
afterward.
series done and dusted. But like, you still have one more best of 5 ahead of you. You still have to play against FlyQuest, and then you have to play against the winner between We Lost and Stick Drift later down the line, as FlyQuest. Is this the moment? Do they go for the golden lower bracket run to get that final ticket into playoffs? That's going to be the big question coming in here. I feel like this matchup could be very, very even.
I suspect that it will be. I do hope that, for Delena's sake, that this head-to-head with Tuzi wakes him up, because, yeah, you're right. It might be a long series, and if they win it, they got another one on the other side of it later on tonight. So it's going to be a long day for whichever of these two teams ends up coming up with the dub. But I'm looking forward to it, right? Like, I have been watching this FlyQuest team pretty closely ever since, stage 1, when they made those adjustments coming out of the preseason. They got off on the wrong foot in the preseason, but started to course correct later on. They lose Vess, and then they lose Jolly, and then they bring in these 2 new Vanguards in Cart and Techie. And like I said, they give them a new identity, a new lease on life, and honestly, even behind the scenes, some pretty, they bring some intangible things to the roster that you just won't see anywhere else. But there is nowhere else that this story could begin than on Celestial Husk, on Domination. Dan, who you think takes the first shot here?
Ooh, I mean, FlyQuest looks so solid on these Domination maps. I got to give it to them, right? They've been performing very, very well. I feel like, if I remember correctly, when they played up against Liquid Citadel, FlyQuest actually put up a very solid fight against Liquid Citadel on Domination. And if FlyQuest can replicate it against the best team in the Americas, I'm sure it'll be no problem against 100 Thieves.
Wake up, Samurai. You've got a city to burn. All right, it's time. It's time. No more yawning. We gotta get this guy a Red Bull. He has got a date with Tuzi, and you don't want to be late, because he will run right over you with that Elsa if that gets through. And again, it comes at the behest of these Cyclops bans that we didn't really see a whole lot of in the last series, but we have seen a lot of across all the regions. Cyclops is a very strong hero. Energy showed us exactly why in that previous series. And Vinny, no, not you two.
Oh,
not you two, my friend.
Hey, there's like a thing, right, where yawns are like contagious and all that. I feel like the entire 100 Thieves Combine are just going to start yawning. But maybe this is the moment that both teams are going to have to wake up here in the ban draft, as both sides not going to take any chances on the Mantis, unlike Swamp Gaming.
Yeah, they are woke to the Techie. Stop that. Okay, I thought that was a yawn as well. It better not have been. Like you said, it's contagious. What is it, like biological warfare where we make the other team yawn? Is that the strategy here? I sure hope not. As we go on through, there's a Cyclops ban coming through for 100 Thieves and a Gamma Protect coming out, so we are going to be seeing some royal flushes on either side, and I anticipate FlyQuest, it may be a rogue ban or it may be the Cyclops, and they're going to go for the latter. So right out the gate, I think the Elsa, and whether it's the Bucky or the Hela for Delena, we'll have to see, but these secondary hit scan picks are going to come out to play.
I mean, another question is, do you start looking at the Rocket Raccoon, or you start looking at the Star-Lord, as 100 Thieves will take away the Gambit Rogue team up at the very least? FlyQuest will be looking at the Rocket Raccoon. Now Star-Lord is available to take 400 Thieves. Do you go for the Star-Lord save? I mean, that would give you guys a huge opportunity to go for those key eliminations through Strategist Ultimates. Supercharged Galactic Legend with the Raging Royal Flush is absolutely devastating, but 100 Thieves, they're going to go for a more strategic approach by locking in the Luna.
What's interesting, Dan, is on a lot of the past outings for 100 Thieves, they have protected the Daredevil, and FlyQuest caught onto that as well. And with no Protect coming out, they're going to go ahead and ban that one out, and now that kind of begs the question, what does self-play? And it's kind of a rhetorical question, right? Because surely 100 Thieves, if they're not going to go for the Protect, they've already thought about that question, and they've got a plan in the back pocket. We're just waiting to see it. But FlyQuest, their ban lines are usually very strategist favored. They do go for this Luna Protect quite often, especially on domination. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, now FlyQuest definitely gonna expect 100 Thieves to maybe play like the Wolverine. I mean, Daredevil's still available in play for, well, Daredevil's gone on 100 Thieves, sorry. But Wolverine definitely is available. We could see maybe some sort of fastball, but I feel like FlyQuest would also want to run it, putting Cart on the Hulk, which is available to him as the Captain America is going to be the final ban coming in for 100 Thieves. So FlyQuest, I feel like, have a decent amount of options, a decent amount of flexibility to work with, whereas 100 Thieves definitely going to rely on that Gambit and Star-Lord Wombo combo.
I think, you know, the Hulk for Cart, like, it's not only available, it's encouraged. He's hovering the Venom right now, but we'll see if that fastball special does end up coming out, because like you said, Wolverine is available for both sides, but right now the hovers are a little bit more what we've been expecting. The one-sided Daredevil for Melio as he swaps over, baits me once again over to the Star-Lord. Someday I'll stop falling for the attack response. Tuzi on the Elsa is one thing that I knew was going to be coming out, and if he changes, yes. I will be legitimately shocked if that Elsa swaps.
Yeah, they're still figuring out which composition to roll on. Maybe get the better read of what the other team is doing, because we've been seeing teams do that in the other matches, right? Try to get a read on what kind of composition the other team's going to try to roll out on, and if you win out in that roll, you just straight up win out in that first fight, and that gives you all the momentum in theory to just take over the round as both teams rolling out. But TTK gonna channel the portal to either kidnap someone from FlyQuest, either split the team, or just go for the backline jump.
Eyes above, they are going to drop in directly above FlyQuest, but I think FlyQuest realized it was danger close and backed out, but a good shield to break Techie off from the rest of his team, and Vinny is going to be there for the cleanup. A good section off there that comes out from 100 Thieves, and with that, they've got advantage in this first fight. FlyQuest posturing themselves to try and contest this point nevertheless, even though they are down a man, but Techie swapping over to the Doctor Strange. He wants to be there for this first fight. He wants to make his presence known. So he'll teleport himself right back in, straight back into the fray, back at a full 6v6, and 100 Thieves coalescing down on one side, FlyQuest on the other. Cart dives in to try and break the stalemate, but is it going to be enough? Is now Tuzi trying to get active with those uppercuts, self on a sliver of HP, and he will be taking that last bit, and that's 3 quick KOs now coming up for FlyQuest as they will emphatically fire the first shot.
Yeah, big fight win for FlyQuest. Zealous was ever so slightly behind on the Raging Royal Flush compared to Winnie, who was at 66%. Zealous only at 43, and now that gives time for Zealous to, at the very least, match the tempo coming in from Winnie, but I feel like Velocity might be the one to pull the trigger first, because once Winnie is there with the Raging Royal Flush, combine it with Delena on the Galactic Legend, Velocity should be able to time this Fate of Both Worlds properly to, at the very least, nullify that combo.
Velocity is going to have to be careful because Vinny has swapped over onto the Captain America. There's the Glartrox coming up from Tuzi, and the Maelstrom, he's able to pop the Lena, so that is going to be an early frag, and that's going to slow out that Galactic Legend ult charge like you were calling out, Dan. He's got 90%, but is going to need to wait at least one more fight to do it, and that's going to mean FlyQuest are going to get up to 50% before that comes out to play.
Even more time for Zealous to charge up his ultimate. Now is going to be able to match maybe what Winnie is about to throw at them, but no, Velocity is going to be the one to, at the very least, be in charge of containing this Galactic Flush from being in play, as the rest of FlyQuest looking to find an angle to get the counter punch down. It's all eyes on Zealous to get the Royal Flush.
Yep. I mean, the combo from 100 Thieves just doesn't amount to anything, and Melio is going to put Delena down, and Feast of the Abyss coming out, like you say, but it's just not going to be enough. Benny is going to take down Tuzi, trading those KOs out, but now Melio up in the sky has got a Galactic Flush of his own, and Techie with another Maelstrom, and all of 100 Thieves are running in fear, scurrying away from the wrath of Melio. He'll find a double in that fight, and another fight win for FlyQuest, and potentially only one more opportunity for 100 Thieves.
I'm not sure if the portal is available just yet for 100 Thieves. This fight has been, or this round has been going so fast. 100 Thieves gonna have to make that scramble. We're going into Final Fight territory. Thankfully, Vinny does have the Freedom Charge. TTK could try to set up Self with the Dance of the Butterfly, with the Heaven's Retribution. We'll see how they decide to approach this. Techie's gonna try to cut him off.
Yeah, I have Agamotto, but I think it was foreseen by 100 Thieves, so they're able to dodge, and now they don't have any ultimates. Heaven's Retribution coming out from TTK,
Good
and
cleanse.
there's that Dance of the Butterfly, but it's not finding much of anything as FlyQuest are able to stay the course for the time being. Freedom Charge to keep 100 Thieves in this fight before FlyQuest look to try and rubber band back into it, but they just can't. Their health bars are so low, and they're not going to get topped up as Vinny, with a nice little right hand, is going to take down Velocity, and he's got another in the tank for Zelos, and 100 Thieves are on the board.
Oh, Cart was so close to winning out that round for FlyQuest. The Feast of the Abyss got Millennia down to critical HP, was forced to use the Fate of Both Worlds so early, and then Velocity coming in with the Raging Royal Flush, or actually it might have been Zelos, to try to rush down the rest of 100 Thieves, but 100 Thieves were able to complete the retake by the skin of their teeth, and now with Winnie getting closer to that no, not the Galactic Legend, it's going to be the Raging Royal Flush, but it's no combo with Delena. It's going to be used early before Delena even gets it.
But TTK still able to make the most of the damage, win that aerial duel against Techie, so no Angela for the side of FlyQuest, and that means that this backline is going to have to play with their heads on a swivel as they still look to try and approach this point, as 100 Thieves still ticking up the percentage, and even though they don't have a whole lot of ultimate stand, they do have the Galactic Legend. Delena is going to let that one rip from on high, force out resource from FlyQuest. The Royal Flush comes out, but Delena can't burst down any of those targets. The Flush was just giving too much healing, and Tuzi is going to take him down. Grounded is he, and now Melio taking down TTK. Self locked in a battle of wits with Cart, but Cart is going to win this one outright. Now Vinny looking to try and stall as FlyQuest, they've identified this man lurking in the back line, and they're not going to let him find the flip. No sneaky back caps today. FlyQuest will take the first point.
Oh, the portal not coming in time despite the heroic stall coming in from Vinny. He tried his best, but unfortunately it was not meant to be. FlyQuest end up controlling that first checkpoint. It's just that early momentum that FlyQuest were able to secure for themselves, getting those picks into neutral before getting secure of that first checkpoint meant that FlyQuest had all of that momentum, right? Even winning that fight is so important to make sure that you have resources to at the very least counter what 100 Thieves wanted to throw during that retake.
I'm sorry, does that say 14-0 with 7 final hits for Melio? That's disgusting. That's literally half of the elims Bro is doing single-handedly, and it's working out. Like, no one from 100 Thieves has been able to scout out this Star-Lord pick coming out from FlyQuest.
Yeah, and it just feels like Melio is just doing so much work, dancing around the map terrain, right? Going in off angle, tickle them a little bit. Go to a different off angle, tickle them a little bit more. And it just feels like 100 Thieves, like you said a little bit earlier, right? Their heads are on a swivel trying to track them down. He is in fact the tickle monster. But then the tickles start to hurt a little bit when it's supercharged with the Galactic Legend plus Raging Royal Flush, as Melio is going to try to kick things off with the Galactic Legend, but Millennia should be there to neutralize.
There's not going to be any flush to augment this Galactic Legend, so maybe Melio will opt to hold on to it. We'll have to see as they're looking to try and control this choke for the high ground.
Oh no.
You see Vinny go in deep, and TTK taking down Techie, and Melania wants to put on a show, and Melio didn't buy tickets, so he is going to back off and give the first cap over to 100 Thieves. But now as he comes back through, the cap isn't there. Melio with the Galactic Legend trying to funnel 100 Thieves into this narrow choke point where the damage could potentially come through from the rest of his team, setting Tuzi up to try and find the elims. He's under so much pressure. TTK pokes him down, and now the Dance of the Butterfly coming out from Self. The Glartrox, though, from Tuzi is going to return fire. He simply says, no you, to TTK, puts him down, trading out from Melio. But the first cap goes the way of FlyQuest. 100 Thieves stepped off the point. Vinny's still investing the Freedom Charge. They got to find something with this. Self will find Cart, but is that going to be enough? As now Techie, with the Cloak of Levitation, looks to try and fly to safety, but there is no safe haven when 100 Thieves are on the prowl.
And now FlyQuest down to definitely going to have to look to reset. They do get up to 15%, but now the flip is good for 100 Thieves. I mean, Tuzi did, or at least tried to do so much of that work, but unfortunately just was not able to win out in that fight. Great Apex Predator to shut down TTK during that fight as well, but now coming into this, both teams will have access to the Raging Royal Flush. Delena off with the Star-Lord onto the Winter Soldier to maybe team up with TTK with the Heaven's Retribution.
There's those flushes. Velocity first, then Winnie gets the better one. Zelos is not going to be there to build up to any healing for FlyQuest, so they can't really engage wholeheartedly. Techie will take down Self, but that is going to be a Pyrrhic victory at that, as now 100 Thieves still holding on to so many valuable tools. The Heaven's Retribution and the Kraken Impact both could come online, but they don't need to, as FlyQuest will tuck tail between their legs and play for the next fight.
100 Thieves hold on to that combo. Heaven's Retribution into the Kraken Impact. Great Bionic Hook coming in from Delena to try to disrupt Cart, but he does swing to himself to safety. Self also marking out Cart. So Cart needs to do a little bit of a reset. Use the symbiotic defense to try to get himself reset, but nope, he is not stabilized.
And speaking of resets, Delena has got one in the tank, and he is going to let it loose. Taking down Zello, doesn't actually get the KO, finishing him off. Zello's going to scurry away, and the debuff will expire, so Delena is going to have to be happy with just that one elim onto Cart, as FlyQuest coming back to full strength, looking to try and contest here, but 70% for 100 Thieves. It's going to be one to fight territory if FlyQuest can't get the dub here. The Heavens Retribution, the Heavens may fall, but justice will still be done for 100 Thieves as they'll find 2 in the fight. Cart fell again, and now 80%. It's dire straits for FlyQuest.
Yeah, Final Fight territory is inbound. Do FlyQuest decide to invest in the portal? Techie still on the Angela, maybe to try to touch to at the very least trigger overtime, whereas the rest of FlyQuest definitely are going to be a step or two behind. Cart's going to use the Feast of the Abyss to at the very least keep himself sustained so that he's able to jump down to the point, trigger overtime, and then FlyQuest try to win out this fight from here, but with already one down, it's going to be enough to battle.
The fight's over. There is no fight. TTK won the fight before it even began, but he is not done square enough. Is going to poke Velocity down, make him a shish kebab, and that's going to be 100 Thieves evening up the score. And we got to talk about TTK on the Angela, and if we don't talk about it, FlyQuest needs to start talking about it because it's a problem.
Yeah, great pick onto Zealous, who was holding onto the invisible boundary. That was FlyQuest's best chance of making that fight a little bit competitive despite being down one member. And TTK was able to identify it perfectly, shut him down before he's able to cast the invisible boundary, and then 100 Thieves, knowing that they have the man advantage, just completely wipe out FlyQuest, who didn't really want to use those ultimates because they were just down too many members.
They're going to have the Galactic Flush for this next one, and Zello's making the swap over onto the Rocket, so even if you use the Galactic Legend and the Royal Flush, it doesn't find anything. You know, you do still have access to that secondary damage amp. I think that's a good shout for FlyQuest. It's one of the tools that they have that 100 Thieves simply don't, and I do like that adaptation. I wish it would have came in a little bit sooner on that last map, but it's here now, and it's here to stay, so we'll see if FlyQuest can get themselves back in the driver's seat for map 1.
And the fact that FlyQuest can sync up the Galactic Legend even more reliably, you don't have to always rely on being in sync with your own Raging Royal Flush. You can also try to sync it up with Zelos on the Rocket Raccoon to try to sync up the CYA. Melio's still going to use this Galactic Legend dry.
Yep, with the Fate of Both Worlds, Melania is going to keep his team nice and topped up, but they walked right into Tuzi. He activated his trap card, and he's going to take down 2 with the Galartrox. Vinny and Delena, see ya bye. Winnie is going to fall as well, and FlyQuest with an easy fight win for this 3rd checkpoint.
Oh, what a read from FlyQuest. They knew that when Melio presses that Q button, Melania will do the exact same, and they did just that. Tuzi knocks the Vanguards down into the Abyss. Velocity even holds on to the Raging Royal Flush because he knows if he pops it with the Galactic Legend, it's going to be so much more difficult to find those eliminations. Although it is possible, it is very, very difficult.
Well, Winnie is going to fire the first shot, and Velocity is going to mirror that Royal Flush. Neither team trying to combo it, but now with the Heaven's Retribution coming out, Velocity just got snapped out of existence, and Delena and Self getting active in that KO feed, taking down FlyQuest, systematically dissecting them one by one. And at 34% maybe? Oh, a nice little head bump there to give them that 34%. FlyQuest will find the flip.
Great retake coming in from 100 Thieves, making sure that they are able to execute on the Galactic Legend into the Raging Royal Flush, try to get those key eliminations. Feels like as TTK and the rest of 100 Thieves need to, at the very least, push away FlyQuest, right? Suppress them, stop them from getting access to the point. Cart switches over to the Hulk now as Zelos now has the CYA available.
Once upon a time, Cart was the Hulk guy, and they called him that for a reason. They called it the Culk, and he is culling 100 Thieves. Freedom Charge now coming up from Vinny. He's going to give 100 Thieves a little bit of breathing room in this fight. The CYA, though, is making it so difficult for them to breathe. Delena isn't there, has the Kraken impact, and Tuzi, with the Apex Predator, just tosses Melania into a wall, so even if Delena gets there with the ultimate, the party's over.
And 100 Thieves can't just get the hold down. FlyQuest, they invested quite a bit there. Tuzi on the Apex Predator, Zelos with the CYA, using it in tandem with each other. Now they have to find more time to at the very least get Techie and Melio, both their ultimates online. Cart is also available with the World Breaker Hulk to try to stall out a little bit, but right now all eyes are on 100 Thieves. They're able to complete the retake with Self and Delena with ulti at the ready.
Galactic Legend, but it's not going to be a flush coming out, but it doesn't matter. He's still able to single out Tuzi, and now Cart with that Hulk going in deep, trying to section off 100 Thieves, but they simply ignore it. Their Kelso's choice was go to another game, and they are going to go and find the flip, and D-Hulk, Cart, and FlyQuest forced to take a reset.
Yeah, great picks by 100 Thieves, like you said.
They're staggering Cart. They're staggering Cart out.
Oh my, yeah. They're just letting Cart get reset, and the late stagger means that the BRB also going to be burned out. Although the stagger was devastating for FlyQuest, at the very least they were able to bring them right back. But the problem is, you don't have that for this fight.
Galactic Legend now from Melio. All of 100 Thieves looking to try and take shelter from the storm, using those rocks as an umbrella, and it'll shelter them for now, but now as the Raging Royal Flush is going to come out, Delano wants to try and make something happen with the Kraken Impact. Teki looking to try and pin him down, but can't quite hunt him down. Goes to the Assassin's Charge, but like a bullfighter, Delana just gets out of dodge. Tuzi's able to take down Self, but it's returned immediately. He has to give his life to make it happen, and he may be running out of lives. It's 90% now for 100 Thieves, and FlyQuest, Cart is again stuck deep behind enemy lines. He's just bleeding out time.
At the very least, Velocity was the only elimination coming in from Delena. Good cleanse from Velocity as well to get rid of the reset for Delena. Overtime meter comes up online as CTK also has the Heaven's Retribution. Velocity goes in with the Raging Royal Flush, but Melania is there to respond.
Heaven's Retribution for TTK, locking FlyQuest down, and they are completely on lockdown right now. Zelos is going to res Tuzi back up, but the party again seemingly over as 100 Thieves are going to be celebrating this victory. Self popping off to close things off, and 100 Thieves will take map number 1.
Fist bumps all around for 100 Thieves. They get the job done, although it was a little bit tense. 3 rounds is all it takes for 100 Thieves to take map number 1 here on Celestial Husk. And it feels like both teams definitely are making more heads-up plays. It feels like both teams, they get the initiative down. They're able to get things done. But then when the retake happens, when the counter punches come in, it felt like FlyQuest kind of just didn't really have that response.
Well, they will still have one response on the other side of this break. We'll see what that response is going to be right after this.
이루어지는 마법인 거야. 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작해야 해. 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자청을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠 날때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠 날때까지 세계 운명 오랜 시간 간직해온 열망 까만 밤의 빛처럼 빛나 네 눈앞에 바로 어떤 나라 제발 딱 봐도 superstar 딱 보면 모르나 널 지킬 나란 걸 지켜볼수록 점점 빠져들어 카리스마 넘쳐 흘러 oh yeah 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 흘러난 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 정오의 시간
I outnumber you. Your powers are mine!
Assemble! Sorry, soldier.
Tides will rise and fall. Be the unwavering force that refuses to wash away. Coast undefeated as Captain America's Seaside Sentinel, Loki's Seaside Siren, and White Fox's Coastal Kumiho costumes available right now. And even though that Seaside Sentinel skin's hitbox may have caught a small nerf this morning, I don't think if you told Vinny that he would agree. I think he's still feeling pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, his Captain America is always solid on the battlefield, but keep in mind, this is only wave 1 of the summer costumes. You still got another wave, and who knows who's going to get the swimsuit skins this time around. But what we know now is Hunter Thieves on the forefront here up against FlyQuest. They take away Celestial Husk, and I know I said FlyQuest have looked very solid on domination maps. They have looked pretty solid up against Hunter Thieves. Both teams definitely making that initiative, right? Going for those heads-up plays, trying to get those eliminations as soon as possible. But when it came to, at the very least, retaining the mission area, it just became where FlyQuest definitely fell off a little bit.
Yeah, the heads-up plays might have been on point, but I think for FlyQuest, you might also want to keep your heads down because the skies aren't exactly friendly when TTK is flying them. He is going to be your MVP for that first map on the Angela, and we were talking about it how many times, right? Like, this kid sure is top tier, and on the Angela, he looked every bit of it. You know, Tuesday having to use Glartroxes just to get him off of him for a second, but even through that, one stat not shown here is 14 final hits for an Angela. 14
Yeah, I mean,
members of FlyQuest skewered. Bro is making skewers for the 4th of July.
If you don't want to play the Wolverine, just play the bigger and tankier Wolverine, right? TTK literally does the same concept of a Wolverine, right? Kidnap someone, try to put them in an isolated position, and then go for the elimination that way. And TTK literally does just that on the Angela. As we take a look at all of these stats, there you go. TTK confirmed 14 final hits on the Angela. And if you're on the FlyQuest camp, we talked about it a little bit in the green room, right? Where does FlyQuest want to go in map number 2? And it's likely going to be Heart of Heaven. So maybe you start to look at that one-winged angel.
Speaking of, zero healing though for Techie. Like, bro is selfish, but sometimes you just got to give LeBron the ball and let him dunk it, and that just kind of feels like what Techie was, or what TTK was doing to Techie. You know, dunking on him, winning out some of those one-winged angel 1v1s, and you know, every time that FlyQuest has gone down a map, their first map pick has been Heart of Heaven. I do believe they won it against Sentinels. They didn't win it against Team Liquid Citadel, but that is a map that I think where the Angela thrives. So again, to your point, I think that if you want to go to Heart of Heaven, you may need to ban the Angela. Either that or Techie needs to come alive on that hero pick. But we'll see what the map pick ends up being here very shortly, as FlyQuest have chosen to take us to...
Drum roll, please, as we go
Heart of
to Heart of
Heaven.
Heaven. Our assumptions have been correct. We can look very, very smug. We can look very, very smart on broadcast now. Thank you very much for tuning in to Sage 1 America's Playoffs. As
we might look smart, but Prod made me feel dumb for a second, really making me wait for that one. I was like, all this talk about Heart of Heaven, they're gonna like make us wait, and psych, it's Shin Shibuya. No, it's Heart of Heaven, and yeah, again, you know, gotta go back to that Angela. Do FlyQuest feel like they're not gonna get the better of that duel? Do they have to ban it out, or are they looking to try and go in a different direction?
Yeah, because the thing is, if you do invest bans onto the Angela, you open up the door when you're on 100 Thieves to other options, right? TTK, he doesn't always have to play the Angela. He's not an Angela one trick. He's still got a Magneto. He's still got a Doctor Strange. He's still got the Emma Frost as well. All of them very, very solid picks in the current meta. And I'm sure TTK, if he doesn't get access to Angela, it's just going to be that it's going to be just a tad bit more difficult to get those high ground control that he probably would want to go for.
And like I said earlier, you know, it doesn't really matter how good or how bad 100 Thieves is doing at any given moment, because this guy is always in conversation for one of the best Vanguard players, not just in Americas, but in the world. People in EMEA back in the day were still saying, yeah, that TTK guy, you gotta respect him when it comes to any of those Vanguard picks, and you just listed off like his entire hero pool, and I feel like that's only just scratching the surface. But chat, we're only just scratching the surface of this matchup here. Map number 2, and FlyQuest are gonna kick it off the same as we did before, a Mantis ban and a Gambit Protect.
And Cyclops will be the go-to option. Apart from the Rogue, from what we've been seeing
Bro
early
is
in
blurry.
playoffs, and yes, he just came back. He's still trying to get his vision in check. Either way, 100 Thieves will secure the one-sided Cyclops here.
There's some energy drinks. 100 Thieves are waking up, and that is a dangerous thing.
It's starting to
They won that first map in their sleep. Can you believe it?
There it is. Hello, self.
All right.
Oh, goodbye.
Hello. And hello to the one-sided Cyclops, and I think that is going to put a lot of pressure onto Tuzi, because Delana, like, we highlighted his hero pool, and I will swap over to the Bucky or the Hello when the Cyclops is banned, but 100 Thieves being able to go straight for the Protect onto that one is going to, again, likely force that Elsa pick from Tuzi, and he's been great when it comes to that, but yeah, there it is. All right, yeah, we got to shift gears. We got to talk about that Angela.
Yep,
it did, in
is.
fact, come through. I mean, and it really had to.
Yeah, we talked about it, right? Angela is very, very strong on the Heart of Heaven, making sure that you're able to control the high ground. Also the side rooms as well, making sure that those are in check. And with how well TTK played that Angela on Celestial Husk, if you go into a map where Angela is one of those power picks on the Heart of Heaven, yeah, you got to take that away.
Daredevil is going to be taken away next by FlyQuest. So again, trying to tighten the screws on Self's hero pool just a little bit, but I mean, Self looked just fine when it came to the Star-Lord, and you can't ban the Star-Lord out anymore. You can only maybe protect it and try to get it one-sided, rely on some galactic flushes. I do think, you know, Melio did look to be a little bit better when it came to that Star-Lord duel, but it's going to be the Luna that ends up being protected. And again, FlyQuest still sticking to this very strategist-focused protect line.
200 Thieves pull the trigger here. Do they take away the Star-Lord? Because you don't have access to the Angela anymore, which means it's going to be a little bit more difficult to, at the very least, try to shut it down. at least 100 Thieves, if they really do want to go that route, they could go for the Magneto, right? You still have that team up with the Gambit and the Magneto, so the Magneto will have a little bit more of that damage, as 100 Thieves will invest that final ban to limit Kart's hero pool just a tiny little bit.
But again, like, Cart is likely going to come out on the Venom. You know, we've seen a lot of that Venom, or, you know, again, the Hulk. We can see the Hulk come out to play. But I want to talk a little bit about this, about Cart, because he's not just the Hulk guy. His bag of tricks is so much deeper. Like, his Captain America does warrant a ban. It's that good. His Venom, I think, also could warrant a ban if, you know, Venom were a little bit more prioed in the pick and ban phases these days. But he also brings something to the table that is so important for this FlyQuest roster. Every esports team under the sun always has some hard times where things get a little bit heated. You start to feel a little bit of pressure in scrims or in matches. Cart, I've sat in with this team on scrims, I've listened to their comms, and Cart will be the guy that cuts the tension, brings the team back down, and keeps the vibes positive. And that's the kind of thing that you don't really see on a scoreboard or on a KO feed, but it means the world of difference in situations like this.
Yeah, just like here, right? You're already down one map. Cart, like you said, has been the glue guy. Keep everyone's mental in check in this side of FlyQuest, as they have chosen to go towards the attacking side here, as the gates will open up. There's no way Melio rolls out in the Iron Man, right?
Yeah, surely not. Yeah,
Okay,
he's going to roll out on...
There we go.
You know,
That's
still
more like
going for
it.
some aerodynamics, but one that we're a little bit more familiar with is, you know, going to play again for those galactic flushes. So FlyQuest more or less playing exactly what they did on Celestial Husk, but with a different pick and ban phase, we'll see if it amounts to a victory for them, as they look to try and control this high ground, but Self trying to use that spin move, that helicopter mode, to take Techie down from on high. Regen domain forced that early on, as Cart has dove in deep and put a little bit of pressure on the back line, but he'll be repelled as his health bar gets low. But first blood has already been found now, and Tuzi will strike at Delena.
Yeah, we'll see if FlyQuest are able to keep that momentum going, or if 100 Thieves are able to stall out enough time to bring Delena back into this fight. Vinny gets so low, but great peel coming in from 100 Thieves to keep him stabilized. So now the stall is complete, and now 100 Thieves should be back to 6-man strong very soon. Techie does burn the BRB, and now FlyQuest and 100 Thieves now at an even 6 versus 6.
Techie just pushing the front line off of the point, guaranteeing that second tick for FlyQuest, and also forcing out the regen domain from 100 Thieves. So as they come back out of that choke, they're gonna force the copy as well. And FlyQuest, they simply leave. Wait, they found Delena. Where was Bro?
I don't know how Delena went down towards the tail end. Winnie is still holding on to the Raging Warrior Flush. Uses it at the very last second before the copy wears off. So at the very least, 100 Thieves won't fizzle out the God of Mischiefs. So at the very least, they'll try to, at the very least, zone away FlyQuest. But again, great disengage coming in from FlyQuest. They immediately recognize, hey, we already got 2 ticks. Let's just get the hell out of here.
Yeah, they got 2 ticks and they got a major ult out, and a little bit of discord between the front and back lines of 100 Thieves. They're going to be kicking themselves for that one, but FlyQuest are going to be doing some kicking for them. Rachel domain forced out again. Tuzi holding on to that Apex Predator, looking for an opportunity to use it, but he'll be put on lockdown. Good Purify, like you said, coming through, keeping Tuzi alive, keeping him out of the throes of that strangling prison, but his Self comes back. Wolverine with a gun now, don't know where he got that. Someone take it away from him. Cart will be bursted down on another BRB, but there's a Glartrox down a narrow hallway, and Tuzi catches on to everybody from 100 Thieves, and FlyQuest will catch this first point.
Yeah, can we talk about that KO feed for a second? What in the world was that? Someone needs to clip that. Someone needs to screenshot that, because I've never seen that before. Self Wolverine with a gun icon on the KO feed? That was a little strange. A little bit funny at times.
It was a Punisher rifle. There's not even a Punisher in play. I don't know where he got that.
What, like, does an adamantium gun exist?
I mean, if you're FlyQuest, you're gonna hope that it doesn't. But 100 Thieves
really
gonna come on through with that adamantium resolve. A nice little portal, but Techie is gonna skew herself in midair. It's traded up for velocity, but if you're FlyQuest, you're okay with these trades because your spawn door is right there. 100 Thieves are just hoping to try and bleed out some time, but they may be bleeding out members of Melee say about it. They'll teleport back out to safety, give a little bit more ground to 100 Thieves, but FlyQuest, one by one, they will be falled, and gonna be a pause coming out as 100 Thieves, I think, are still trying to wonder what the heck happened between the start of this map and now?
I mean, like, FlyQuest have looked to be waking up a lot here. They've locked things in. Addressing that TTK is just way too strong on the Angela and taking it away here on Heart of Heaven is proving to do so much of that work, right? And FlyQuest, you gotta talk about that fight as well, right? Disengaging completely from that offensive move that 100 Thieves were trying to do with the Raging Royal Flush meant that when FlyQuest went for the clapback, they just straight up didn't have to worry about the Raging Royal Flush.
Yeah, it's just so easy. Like, it's so easy to read a play like that coming out, a big mistake coming out from from 100 Thieves rather, and FlyQuest are able to seize the opportunity. And again, I don't know where Delena was that he wasn't able to at the very least get the healing from that Raging Royal Flush, maybe keep him alive, but you know, FlyQuest sniffed him out like a truffle pig, and they were able to just take him down so quickly and so easily. And 100 Thieves can't even make the most of that distraction, so FlyQuest just parlay that into a first point cap and a little bit more cart progress, as Melania will be the last to fall, and this cart's gonna start rolling.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get out of this little low ground as soon as possible, right? Self and Delena could be absolutely devastating with their ultimates if everyone on FlyQuest are stacked up in this lower choke point, and they will just barely get that convoy right out of the low ground before 100 Thieves even have an angle.
They're gonna have a lot of ults, and they're also gonna have the spawn on their side. Ruby Rage, and Cart is on a sliver of HP. It'll be cleaned up, but rezzed back. Now winning again with a Raging Royal Flush, and this time, FlyQuest are ready for it again as Melio in the sky with that Galactic Legend pressuring 100 Thieves back. They don't want to show face up against that or risk losing another one. Melania is under a ton of pressure in the backline up from that veil of smoke. FlyQuest are lurking. They'll deal with Techie. A good ground coming out there from Vinny, and that is going to be an easy KO, and 100 Thieves getting themselves back in control.
TTK is holding on to that Meteor M in case something goes awry, whether it be it was possibly Techie on the Heaven's Retribution, but switches over to the Elsa Bloodstone. Tuzi good to go in with the Apex Predator, and that nets him 2 frags.
I mean, again, 100 Thieves are just so split. Like, half the team was looking for Melio in the backline. They can't even confirm that Elim, and Tuzi capitalize on it, and now 100 Thieves forced to collect themselves again coming into this next fight with the aforementioned Meteor M and a Raging Royal Flush to boot, but a CYA from Zelos could potentially best both of them, and if that fails, there's going to be another Royal Flush, this time on Velocity's side, to keep this one going for FlyQuest. The CYA is going to be the opening salvo here. Meteor M to absorb the bulk of the damage, but it pops like a balloon. He doesn't get anything from it. Too much damage coming out, and now the Royal Flush. They have to try and invest in this one, but Velocity is happy to call their bluff. Goes in with it. TTK taking down Cart, the early frag going 100 Thieves' way, but they need a little bit more to stave off FlyQuest for the time being. Techie's health bar is super low, but Vinny's is gone. Tuzi took it away. Hit Techie gonna be taken away as well. Delena cleaning him up, and 100 Thieves getting their feet beneath them.
Yeah, just before the second checkpoint, they're able to bring things together, but Cart looks to change that. Great chomp onto Melania. Winnie's able to get the copy steal onto Velocity. Melania already went down, which means he had to be forced to use it onto the enemy Gambit, and 100 Thieves are able to pull off the defense.
The Ruby Rage from Delena finding a hit, strikes gold. And 100 Thieves are able to get themselves in the driver's seat here, and this is where Heart of Heaven gets real spooky. If you only have a minute left in the time bank, the spawns for both sides are so close that it's an even fight. It's a war of attrition to try and get through, but Melio, he was bred for war. A Galactic Legend is going to force out the regen domain. Heartbreaker in response from Vinny, but Techie is trying to lock him down with the Sonic Seduction, but nobody from 100 Thieves is feeling all that seduced. As a matter of fact, the Glortrox gets canceled. Self with the last stand takes him for a ride and will take Cart to boot, and that is an easy 2-piece, and 100 Thieves will still hold control.
Another huge fight. 400 Thieves. Now we're going into final fight territory. 30 seconds left on the timer for FlyQuest if they want to make something happen. Zelos has to find ways to initiate with the CYA. The timing has to be right now, but TTK with the Meteor could easily use it as a defense mechanism for 100 Thieves.
Cart is lurking. The unforeseen threat has now been seen, and Delena taking down Tuzi again. He'll be rezzed back up, but Techie won't get the res this time, so your front line is going to be left lacking. A Meteor M hanging above the head like a guillotine again. Doesn't find what it's looking for, but TTK doesn't need no ult. He'll take down Tuzi the good old-fashioned way, and there's no more ults on the side of FlyQuest, save for that Royal Flush. But is there going to be anybody around to use it? As Zelos falls, a portal play now coming out from Techie to try and get some presence in this front line and continue to pressure. Royal Flush now coming out, but it's going to be reciprocated by Melania. Is the damage going to be there? No, Techie gets bursted down, and 100 Thieves laying siege to this cart and not letting FlyQuest have that last crucial inch on point B. They're still alive, still pressuring, still trying to make something happen, but Delena looks to snatch it away from them. Another Ruby Rage. The Glortrox from Tuzi finally comes out. It catches onto one, but it's not going to be cleaned up. Velocity taking down Vinny, and Cart with a haymaker taking down Self, and hold on a second. FlyQuest are not out of the fight quite yet. Another Royal Flush now coming out from Vinny, and a fastball from Cart says catch. And did he catch onto anybody? Clobber in time on deck, but he has to get out. 3% left to go. Another res, but the Cart inching one by one, step by step closer towards that next checkpoint. FlyQuest don't want to give this up. Clobber in time comes out. Vinny with another portal play. A Self with another last stand, taking 2 away. And that might be it for FlyQuest. They might not be able to get this cap, but they're not giving it up. A CYA coming out. Self rips it to ribbons. Has to pay for it with his life, though. Velocity saw that one coming a mile away, and FlyQuest still not out of it.
Oh my, this fight is going longer and longer. This is the power of the spawn room in favor of 100 Thieves. It is so close to that second checkpoint. TTK looking to take advantage of it. Cart's gonna go down. Overtime at a sliver, and both teams are not giving up.
FlyQuest can't get off of this card for even a second, but Melio wants to claim it for his own. The last stand, but he drops right into the regen domain, and this domain belongs to 100 Thieves. A Ruby Rage from Delana, and an Elam onto Tuzi, and one by one, FlyQuest will be felled, and 100 Thieves will stand their ground on Heart of Heaven.
The power of being held at second on Heart of Heaven. FlyQuest, unfortunately, just could not find the winning move there. Self had to come up huge with that last stand onto 2, and with those 2 quick eliminations in quick succession just meant that FlyQuest just ran out of gas there. Could not find a way to recover because 100 Thieves, it just felt like, at least in the first half of that entire overtime fight, they were always at a man disadvantage. They always were down 1, maybe 2 members. But because of how close that spawn room was to that second checkpoint, 100 Thieves had a world of advantage in terms of getting that retake down. And 100 Thieves, props to them for being able to stall time and time again to make sure that once they are regrouped at 6, they go for the finishing blow.
And what a rebound, right, for 100 Thieves for how disastrous that first point defense was, to be able to stand your ground and deny the second point cap. That is everything, because it does set yourself up for another map win here. And 100 Thieves, like, you know, yeah, like you said it, like being able to stand your ground there with the spawn advantage is everything. That does mean that FlyQuest are going to have to do the very same but better in order to get themselves on the board for their map pick. And 100 Thieves, like, they're rolling right now. They're going to be feeling themselves after a rebound like that. They got their mojo back.
And now, where does FlyQuest adjust? They're gonna try. They thought about utilizing the Hella No More team up, but nope, it's just gonna be Amelio on the Hella. The more favored hit scan option over things like, what, maybe the Elsa Bloodstone that Tuzi could have ran is going to go for the Star Wars instead. Could have also been the Phoenix, but that has fallen out of favor towards the late stages of stage 1 here, as the portal going to be the initial move here for 100 Thieves.
It takes the high ground away from FlyQuest and forces them to scatter, and now Melio doesn't have the angle that he wants. In fact, he's staring down the barrel of disaster, but Techie will bring him back from the brink with a kidnap there onto Self. It's traded up for Cart, though. That'll be res back up with the BRB, so FlyQuest able to stand tall for now, and if they can keep this defense going, bleed out this time bank, maybe they stand a chance of taking this map back.
See about that. Melio looking to find that hit scan onto Vinny. Will confirm that elimination. And FlyQuest, so far, winning out in that first fight, making sure that they're able to stall out the aggression coming in from 100 Thieves with the portal play up into the high ground right in front of that first checkpoint. As the rest of FlyQuest just building up those ultimates, trying to find that opening opportunity, but with FlyQuest being positioned so high up, it's so hard for 100 Thieves to take them down.
Yeah, no portal, so they can't reclaim that high ground, and you can see TTK just swinging hands saying, please come down here, please fight me. Like,
we don't fight.
Yeah, like a dog barking at a cat up a tree, but FlyQuest eventually will have to come down and face that particular hound. They will have the tools to be able to do so before long. Regen domain already forced out from Winnie, but Cart gets caught out and once again burns the BRB, so still a full 6v6, and 100 Thieves stuck in this little cubby. Winnie wants to give him a way out, and that's gonna be that Rage Royal Flush that comes out, and the damage is just so good, but Melio puts Winnie down with a Thorn to the dome, and another for Delana, and that is gonna be that fight put to bed so easily with just 2 simple clicks.
Well, at the very least, Melania will come back in the next fight with another rotation of the Raging Royal Flush. The issue is Velocity and Zealous could easily shut it down. Tuzi also prepping that Galactic Legend, is going to try to team up with either the CYA or the Royal Flush. We will see how FlyQuest decide to approach this, because they know Melania is going to want to trigger this Raging Royal Flush for 100 Thieves to, at the very least, maybe try try to get another tick of this checkpoint.
Oh no, Cart was outside of the range of the BRB that time around. Either that or it wasn't off cooldown, but nevertheless, that casualty is going to be permanent now, and he won't be there for this Royal Flush coming out. Goddess of Death now coming up from Melio to try and catch someone off guard, but the healing from that Royal Flush is going to be too much to bear, so they have no choice but to mirror it. Tuzi with the Galactic Flush, and between the 1-2 punch of him and Melio, they'll be able to take him down in Velocity with a 2-piece, and again, FlyQuest snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, and only 1 minute and 15 left in the time bank to complete the full hold.
That was an insane pincer move. Melio on the left side, on the right side in FlyQuest's POV, and then Tuzi on the left just meant that 100 Thieves, if you left that shrine, you were completely wiped out. There was no option for 100 Thieves. They had to be forced to stack together, try to take refuge in the regen domain out of Winnie, but once those greens are gone, you guys are also going to be gone as they have to look for the reset once again. Great positioning, great placement of these ultimates coming in from FlyQuest.
Vinny is going to be able to put Techie down for the time being. Again, it's res back up, but Vinny has been fighting so hard to try and dislodge Velocity and Tuzi from this high ground and hasn't been able to do it. Techie has been a thorn in his side and often one in his chest. Quite often, every single time. And now Techie with the Heaven's Retribution going in, looking to put those Axes of Ichor to work. He's going to have to put up the shield, but it's enough to give Melio a clean shot onto Winnie and potentially FlyQuest a clean shot at this final fight.
Final fight territory. Is the portal ready to be used? It should be off cooldown by now for 100 Thieves, but they do have 2 Rage and Royal Flushes at the ready. The first one will be used to, at the very least, try to get entry onto the mission area. Can FlyQuest hold it off?
It was an early Royal Flush. They know it's coming. Self looking for the last stand, but he misses. He whiffs. It's a loud brick, and Techie is going to carve TTK down, and Tuzi doing the very same to Delena up in the sky with the Galactic Flush. Sorry, it was the CYA plus the Royal Flush, and Melio feeling the full pressure of Self with that Royal Flush coming out the other way. Melania taking down Techie. Melio will be res back up, but Winnie felled by Cart, and it feels like FlyQuest are getting the better of this one as Melio takes the skies with the Goddess of Death. It's a portal play from TTK to try and keep 100 Thieves in this fight, but Melio with another taking down Self, and it feels like it's all over but the crying. 100 Thieves doing their best to try and wipe their tears away and keep themselves in the fight, but another portal play now, this time from Techie to keep FlyQuest at full strength for the rest of this fight, and there's a Royal Flush on deck, and Velocity wants to let it rip. He'll do just that. The damage maybe too much to bear with the Ruby Rage coming out from Delena. Is he able to find anything? No, Techie is gonna find Winnie, and Tuzi onto Delena, and FlyQuest will tie up the score 1-1.
A wake-up call has been initialized on FlyQuest. They make this a series. We're tied up 1-1 off of a full hold from FlyQuest. Heroics coming in, especially onto the duelists of FlyQuest, but also a shout out to Techie doing so much work on the Angela. We talked about how strong the Angela is on the Heart of Heaven, and he has shown why it is so damn strong to, at the very least, enable both Melio and Tuzi. Just give him so much of that room.
Yeah, I mean, the Angela pick from Techie looks just so much better when it's unmirrored, and 100 Thieves are going to have to take a good, hard, long look at the mirror and see what their next move is going to be, because remember, it's elimination station for both of these teams. Their tournament lives hanging in the balance, and we've got map number 3 right after this.
내가 좋아지려면 꿈꿔왔던 너와 나 그래 그래서 네 운명에 The fate of 좀 있다 날 때까지 세게 오면
No matter where, we will fight, reaching across time and space.
Will it be the FlyQuest farewell tour, or will 100 Thieves find themselves being taken out to the curb? Only time will tell, as the score is even Stevens here after match number 2. FlyQuest get themselves back in the W column.
I mean, it was off of some incredible coordination from the entirety of FlyQuest. We were talking about it in the green room, right? It was very, very difficult to pinpoint who was the true MVP, because it felt like, at the very least, it was at least both Tuzi and Melio going off on the duelist, especially in one of those fights where they just went for that pincer move, right? Goddess of Death on the right side, Galactic Legend on the left, and we call that the illusion of choice.
Well, there was there was a clear choice when we chose our MVP for that matchup, and it was going to be Tuzi. You know, one of those threats lurking above that 100 Thieves, they had to pick their poison, like you say. The illusion of choice, which way Western team? Well, this way was the wrong way, as Tuzi flies high, 32-6 with 30k damage and 51.1% accuracy. I know a lot of that is going to be with the Elsa, but it's still impressive to pull up a hero like the Star-Lord and still manage to have that level of precision.
Reason why it gets spent. Also become a B-side of a reliable engine. You'll have a reliable way to, at the very down, where this Star-Lord is going to be in terms of where he's going to in like an off angle, right? He could show up one and he can reposition, go somewhere else. Don't have a reliable way to track him down. Tuzi just kind of has free to do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, some of these fights, though, it feels so close and it feels so back and forth that they really start to break down. And it gets kind of hard to call, but then you do have situations where, like you say, Tuzi is free to just kind of do whatever he wants because, you know, while there's this, like, cartoon cloud happening down below, he's just above observing, able to go wherever he would like, you know, fly high, pick his target, take the duel, win the duel, put them down, and he was able to put 100 Thieves down and FlyQuest take that first win. And we also got to shout out Melio as well, 27-4. Like, bro was clicking some of those heads. There was a couple of fights where it felt like 100 Thieves had a shot, and then Melio just hits a couple quick headshots, and it's all done. It's all gone. Like, your opportunity to try and make magic just taken away from you with a couple of swift little headshots. And I think that's the power of the Hela, and why we've seen Delena as well reach for that particular weapon in the past. But as we go forward, 100 Thieves are going to be looking to try and get themselves back in the driver's seat. It's going to be their map pick, and I'm wondering which map they're going to take it to. Dan, you and I have a theory based on some recent history.
Yeah, if the pattern goes according to plan, 100 Thieves should be thinking about the Museum of Contemplation, and it makes sense, right? We've already played on Domination, we've already played on Convergence, and now we go into Convoy, the only game mode left, and 100 Thieves really love to pick that Museum of Contemplation here in the playoffs.
And it's the map that they, I believe that's the map that they beat Swamp Gaming on, where they made, you know, who we thought was one of the best teams in the region, and still very well might be, but, you know, not able to contest with TLC the same way as they once could. But the map pick is coming on through, and once again, they're going to make us wait for it, Dan. It's surely got to be Museum, and indeed it is. We called it.
I mean, it's been the comfort pick, not just for 100 Thieves, but it feels like for almost every single team here in the Americas, right? There's a lot of teams that have picked Museum of Contemplation. I feel like you and me, CB, we've experienced it first, right? Where Museum was just everywhere when we casted the Pacific region, at least during the preseason, and it looks like that infection has spread all the way over to EMEA and the Americas.
It didn't take long for that contagion to break, and then for everybody to reach Museum of Contemplation as their crutch map pick, because it's one of those maps where you can kind of play anything. You want to play an Adam Warlock double res comp, go for it. You want to play a dive composition, go for it. Doesn't matter. You can make it work. If it's in your toolbox, then it may very well be the right tool for this particular job. And I think those are the kind of situations that 100 Thieves thrive under. They do like to reach for that Adam Warlock composition from time to time, and you know, I do kind of anticipate that's what they're going to be coming out here with, but I'm wondering if FlyQuest will have scouted that out as well and may try to adapt on the fly here.
And it all comes down here in the ban draft. Maybe the Angela becomes addressed one more time. Angela's still a very strong map here on the Museum of Contemplation. If you're able to get that Assassin's Charge and then put them in a corner where it's out of the line of sight of the strategist, it can be absolutely devastating in terms of either going for a good hold or going for a proactive offensive move. But FlyQuest taking away some of those offensive options from 100 Thieves by getting rid of the rocket very early and then securing the gambit.
I do, again, like the rocket ban. I think, you know, FlyQuest have been using the rocket quite well as of late, and 100 Thieves will have an opportunity to ban it out with the second ban slot here as they lock in that one-sided Cyclops, again, trying to give Delena his favorite tool. But, you know, as we've discussed, you know, even when you fall back to some of these secondary hit scan looks, Tuzi has still looked stellar, whether it's on the Elsa, whether it's on the Star-Lord, whether it's on anything else. And, you know, you call it out. There's a rocket protect coming out from FlyQuest, but the Angela ban as well.
Yeah, and the exact same spot as map number 2 is where FlyQuest pulled the trigger, denied TTK from that Angela. I mean, we it's good. There's a good reason why, right? He's been so strong on that hero, and especially on Heart of Heaven. If he got his hands on that, there was a world where 100 Thieves could be running away with this series. But 100 Thieves, however, get a good look, right? They know that FlyQuest have the Gambit and the Rocket Raccoon, so you take away one of those picks that is really strong in terms of synergizing with either of those strategist ultimates, and it's going to be the Star-Lord.
I think FlyQuest have the opportunity to mirror that Star-Lord ban now, as, you know, you were kind of forced into a situation where you have to ban, or you have to protect the Gambit in that last slot or risk giving it up one-sided. FlyQuest instead going to ban the Loki, so you know, 100 Thieves able to sneakily get a one-sided Star-Lord here, and I do think that might favor them on the attacking side a fair bit. Is now you're gonna be wondering, all right, so Tuzi can play the, like, he can't play the Star-Lord. He's probably gonna play the Elsa or, you know, something a little bit more hit scanny. What exactly does Melio play now that Star-Lord's not an option?
I mean, we've seen him cook on the Ella in map number 2. Could be a chance that he whips it out one more time. FlyQuest on the defensive side for now as 100 Thieves. This is their map choice. This is their comfort pick as we head into the round. 100 Thieves will start out on the attacking side first and foremost, whereas FlyQuest looking to be on the defensive side. And CB, I gotta point this out, right? We haven't been seeing a whole lot of that triple coming out here today.
And we're getting an interesting triple look from Fly. No, actually, we're not. That's not a triple. I lied. Psych. They've got a duelist, and of course, it was Tuzi on the Elsa. You know what's crazy is I said that as I was staring right at that Elsa. Like, oh yeah, she's a Vanguard now, totally. No, we haven't seen a whole lot of triple here. A couple of teams have run it here and there, but I anticipate, like, if that comes out, it's likely going to be 100 Thieves on their defensive side. But as they go first up to bat on the attacking side, they are going for something a little bit front to back, a little bit brawl heavy, but still making some space for Delena on that Cyclops. FlyQuest not with a triple, but still an interesting triple strategist lineup. Melio on that Ultron is going to give Tuzi a fair bit of damage boost and also a fair bit of pocket. And Cart is also going to be on an off angle. You can see Vinny already trying to scout out, looking behind, trying to see where that Venom may be lurking, where it's striking. Psych, it's right in front of you. A nice wall to stop any follow-up damage from coming through. As Cart scuppers back away to the rest of his team and scurries right back up to his old stomping grounds.
And Winnie, though, already halfway towards that Raging Royal Flush. It almost seems like 100 Thieves are actually funneling all the heals for Winnie to get his Raging Royal Flush before any ultimate is available on the side of FlyQuest. Look at Winnie, already at 75. No one is close to that ultimate to match what Winnie's about to throw at them.
Surely FlyQuest has scouted this out. Like, they know they've done a lot of damage and Yul should be coming online. Cart tries to find the Elam onto Winnie. Tuzi does take down Vinny, and It
Oh, that
won't
is
slow down
crucial.
the Raging Royal Flush, but at the very least it'll make Winnie think twice before popping it as Techie finds 2 at the tail end of that fight. That gives FlyQuest a little bit of breathing room.
That is very clutch for FlyQuest. Now it gives FlyQuest some room to build up those ultimates. Techie is going to be the main man to task at sustaining the 100 Thieves push that Winnie is about to provide for them. Tuzi, though, is going to try to get the jump with the guard trucks around the corner. Winnie will pop the Galactic, not the Galactic, it wasn't the Raging Royal Flush, and now, as Techie is going to want to use the Silent Seduction, but no, isn't able to have it in time. But at the very least, FlyQuest are able to stabilize.
Extermination event incoming as the Raging Voltron coming out from Melio. 100 Thieves, they really wish they would have gotten something with that Raging Royal Flush, but it's just not coming, so FlyQuest will pressure them back once again, and Cart just seemingly has not been repelled. He keeps going to that same angle, that same pinch, waiting for 100 Thieves to step into his domain. FlyQuest out with the Psionic Seduction, a nice little wall in his face to try and stop the charms from coming through, but FlyQuest will still find those charms, and now Cart going in, looking to take a bite out of Crime, but with the invisible boundary going to make it quite difficult, and the Vortex to pull him right back into the fire. The Ruby Rage, but Delano couldn't see what he was shooting at, so he's not going to find anything with that one, and now TTK has to try and make it happen with that Sonic Seduction, but Cart so far away, looking at that backline. Invisible boundary now from FlyQuest as they stand their ground. They do not allow 100 Thieves to take even an inch in this fight.
A great job from Cart to isolate the strategist on 100 Thieves. So if 100 Thieves want to go for those offensive moves, it gets so much more difficult because you have to deal with Carts one way or another. Velocity is able to get the copy onto Zealous with the invisible boundary, and now FlyQuest looking to try to stabilize because they did lose Tuzi quite early in that engagement.
Yeah, but they were able to trade that one out for Self later on, so FlyQuest are doing a good job of making it hurt every time they take a punch, so they're not going down too easily here, but another Royal Flush may be a punch that they cannot repel as there's no Strategist Ultimates online, and Techie is going to be feeling the full force of that, and Self identifying his attack helicopter, going to go back in and carve the backline to bits, goes in again to try and take down Cart, can hit the Pharaoh Leap. Cart's still going to be lurking back there, but there's another Predator to the front line. It's the Apex Predator from Tuzi, and he finds 2! Vinny and TTK taken off to the Shadow Realm, and the Rage of Voltron from Melio will repel 100 Thieves, and with 40 seconds left, only one more crack at it.
Yep, 100 Thieves need to get a move on. We are closing in on final fight territory. Self and Millennia need to come up huge with either the Last Stand or the Invisible Boundary, because right now this might be their best opportunity. FlyQuest don't have any ultimates coming up online anytime soon. It's only going to be eyes on Cart and Techie if they're able to get their ultimates online ready to go. Self is able to isolate Cart for a little bit, but he's able to swing himself to safety. But again, FlyQuest need to come up huge with this anti-heal or the CC, but Cart already going down is already bad news.
Oh, Velocity getting caught out. Regen Domain already forced out. Delana wants every bit of this duel. The nice little teleport out. Hello? FlyQuest have just stand-up-snapped the 100 Thieves. They're all gone. Delana, he's furious. The Ruby Rage will take down Velocity, finally winning that duel. But FlyQuest have seemingly won the war as they will full hold 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves had the ult advantage. Where was the trigger? Felt like somewhere...
They never pulled it.
Yeah, somewhere it got jammed, it feels like. Everyone on 100 Thieves kind of just went down without pressing the Q button. And FlyQuest kind of just picked them apart. It felt like every single duel that FlyQuest went for, they just won it out in the end. It was like the little skirmishes here and there. But then FlyQuest, out of nowhere, are just able to pull a miracle out of a hat despite being so behind in that ultimate economy, and we're just able to fight it out in the neutral.
And they pulled a couple of miracles out of the hat. Like, let's be honest, like, even the fight before that, FlyQuest didn't really have a good utility to deal with that Raging Royal Flush. So FlyQuest just bait 100 Thieves in, and Tuzi pulls the trigger on that Glartrox and sends the front line careening off a cliff. And that's that's one way to win a fight. I can tell you for sure.
Yeah.
Like, that'll do it.
It might be the winning move here, because Tuzi already going ballistic. 10.6k damage. Only 4 final hits, but they were all pretty much impact KOs, it feels like.
Yeah, very high impact, and
Yes.
bailing FlyQuest out of fights where they really had no business winning, and they might get a whole map win off the back of it. And for 100 Thieves, no triple, no Adam Warlock. Of course, you know, without the Loki, they definitely can't go for that, so they have to go for a split dive with TTK as the anchor. We get to have all eyes on the thighs once again, TTK, on that Emma.
See if he's able to influence, at the very least, the lane control that is on the Museum of Contemplation. It feels like Museum is just very similar to Midtown, right? These picks that are so strong at controlling those lanes. Things like the Emma Frost, things like the Ultron that Melio played on the defensive side just provides so much of that pressure in the main area. And it feels like FlyQuest were just able to handle it time and time again. Also shout out to Tuzi on the Elsa Bloodstone because that Glartrox also controls a whole lane.
And speaking of controlling lanes, Cart doesn't matter whether it's attack or defense. This one back here is where he wants to control himself. He doesn't want that smoke, and he knows where there's smoke, there is fire, and you can't seem to put out the fire inside of Cart right now. Melio is going to try and get a kidnap, but it's just not going to come through, and 100 Thieves are able to stand tall for the time being. But like you mentioned, Dan, that Glartrox for Tuzi, it's going to be a ticking time bomb because it's been a fight win every time, and Vinny stepping into the snare, nearly fell there. Carbon Crush and Tuzi will put him down. You know the difference between Birdshot and Buckshot? Vinny can tell you the difference, and maybe Self will have a thing or two to say about it as well. Zealous will be pierced by the Ice Arts from Delana, and hold on a second, 100 Thieves are returning fire here, and there's no one to heal up this front line, so FlyQuest, they will be stuck.
Huge pick. Zealous was about to prep the CYA, but it immediately got taken out. And because, like you said, no heals on FlyQuest means they have to go for the soft reset, fight another day. But that gives 100 Thieves more time to stack up ultimates on their end. TTK will have access to the Silent Seduction to at the very least suppress the offensive move coming in from FlyQuest.
He needs it. He's going to oppress them, but it's not forcing out any resources. A Raging Royal Flush now that TTK is out of position, and he has to use the Carbon Crush and the kick just to get back. Ruby Rage from Delana to try and catch out FlyQuest on the engage, but they know their limits, and they are testing them. A Glartrox is going to push 100 Thieves to their limit, and now Tuzi left all alone in this angle. Delana trying to take the duel, but Cart is there, Techie is there, and Delana, he just can't seem to find his friends. Where have they all gone? Psionic Seduction now from Techie, gonna lock Delana down and stop anybody from the 100 Thieves from coming out to contest. It's gonna force out the dance floor from Melania, but now Cart going in with the Beast of the Abyss. He's gonna chomp at your backline. Melania bursted nearly down into oblivion, but Vinny, with a feast of his own, is able to take down Melio, but the Cart rolling seemingly through the portal on through to another map win for FlyQuest.
Such an awkward portal. TTK just barely got that down too. As soon as he popped the portal, he got crowd controlled by something. Not entirely sure what it was, but TTK just barely got that portal down. And it might have been a little bit of a panic, right? Putting that portal in such an awkward situation because of the amount of pressure coming in from FlyQuest meant that FlyQuest force an error out of 100 Thieves and are able to, one, get the full hold against 100 Thieves and then push to the finish line.
Well, 100 Thieves need to try and pull this one back from the brink of oblivion. They are one map away from elimination. We may very well have that map as map number 4 on the other side of this break.
좀 이따 날 때까지 세계 운명 오랜 시간 간직해온 열망 까만 밤의 빛처럼 빛나 네 눈앞에 바로 어떤 나나 탑을 딱 봐도 superstar 딱 보면 모르나 널 지킬 나란 걸 더 지켜볼수록 점점 빠져들어 카리스마 넘쳐 흘러 oh yeah 분명한 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 햇빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠 있다 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 세계 운명 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내게 주어지는 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래들의 승리와 명예 The weight of it both the world is in our hands 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠 있다 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려
Welcome back, Arrivals, to map number 4. It's 100 Thieves versus FlyQuest, and FlyQuest are one map away from putting the Thieves to justice, taking them out of this tournament, and buying themselves another life in this bracket. It's going to be a 100 Thieves map pick yet again, and you and I in the break were kind of deliberating over where it is that they are going to take us. You know, could it be a domination map? Could it be another convoy map now that the map is going to open back up? Before we get to that, we got to talk about who had this one on lockdown. Who does this map belong to? It's none other than Techie.
I mean, Techie is doing so much work as that's Tuesday. Anyway, Techie's the MVP. Dude, don't let your eyes deceive you. It is Techie that is coming out here with the MVP, 10-1, only going down a single time. And he's been doing a lot of work with the Emma Frost, right? Controlling the lane with the Silent Seduction, making sure that when 100 Thieves do go for those offense moves.
There's Techie. That's
Yeah,
Techie.
there he is. There we go. But either way, he's been doing so much work, giving the rest of his team all the room that they need in order to be enabled, right? Every time 100 Thieves went for those offensive moves, Techie was there to clap back.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit more about Techie as well. Like, he's got to be feeling good after that one. You know, this is a guy who, you know, before preseason was playing as a sub for that Lunex squad that would go on to become Sentinels, and then to come in yesterday and best that Sentinel squad, eliminate them, and now getting back in the driver's seat here against 100 Thieves, putting down another nemesis from his past. I'm looking forward to seeing if he's able to close it out, but on Museum of Contemplation, he definitely did some heavy lifting up against 100 Thieves. It kind of felt like 100 Thieves, like, they were a little bit lost in that fight, and those who were found only found themselves in the thrall of that psionic seduction, courtesy of Techie serving Mother.
I mean, it's just also the amount of times 100 Thieves were split apart, right? Cart doing a great job as well as dividing all of 100 Thieves. And you got to call back to that one fight where FlyQuest were just so behind in that ultimate economy, and they still won out because they were able to find those key eliminations just in time before 100 Thieves were even able to make moves of their own. And once FlyQuest started to, at the very least, set the pace of these fights, 100 Thieves literally just had no reaction.
And you know, I guess, you know, we can use that that portrait miscue to our advantage. As you know, I do want to give an honorable mention to Tuzi as well,
Yes,
because those
yes.
Glartroxes were the tool that bailed them out of some of those fights where they had the ult disadvantage. It was just the right tool at the right moment, and that's the mark of a great team, you know, being able to make the most out of a bad situation and even come out ahead. As we have a look at the man himself, and this guy has just given a new look. He's leveled up ever since coming off of Ping, being flown out to play for this FlyQuest roster. He's given them, like, just the kick in the pants that they need.
I mean, it feels like when he was on Ping, he had like leg braces on, like weights on his arms and legs, and once he took them off, they were all
And
like
he was
20,
still whooping
they were,
them back
they
then
were all
too.
like 20
Like,
pounds each. If he was cooking that well on ping, imagine what he does on no latency, and that's exactly what we're getting. Tuzi, now the weights are off. He is free to do whatever he desires, and he has been ripping apart lobby after lobby after lobby as 100 Thieves. Now the ball is in their court. What theme of a lobby do we go to this time?
and one more lobby to be ripped apart, and it is up to 100 Thieves to take us where they want to go. I theorized that it was going to be Midtown. You did say that when the map pool kind of opens up, they have a tendency to also take us back to domination.
Yep.
It could realistically go either way. I'm curious, like, they're making us wait again.
Okay.
It's Midtown. All
There we
right,
go.
W for CB, L for Dan.
I mean, I feel like before stage 1, like when the map pool does reset, it feels like all the teams really wanted to pick a domination map because it makes sense, right? You want to win that first fight, and then you get that control, and then you just try to run away with the game. And with that momentum alone, maybe you could even squeak out a whole map win. But lately, it has been trending away from that domination, right? A little more emphasis on those convergence / convoy maps. And this is another comfort pick of 100 Thieves, right? The Midtown has been very, very popular in terms of where 100 Thieves want to go when they do have the map choice. And again, like the Museum of Contemplation, this is another map that is full of those lanes where things like the Ultron and the Emma will shine in terms of how much of a priority they will be.
Yeah, I think it lends itself very well to 100 Thieves playstyle. I want to give a quick shout out to production because we were talking a little bit about in the pre-show about, like, you know, what do we want to say about this matchup? What kind of things do we want to say? And one observation that they made was that FlyQuest, they have a tendency to win these matches super quick. Their average time spent in a match is somewhere around the 12-minute mark, whereas 100 Thieves trending a little bit more towards 15. Their fastest map win only about 10 minutes in length. 100 Thieves like to be a lot more slow, a lot more methodical, and a lot more, you know, biding their time, waiting for the right moment for someone like Self or Delana to go in and find the cleanup.
And you can see the polar difference, right? You talked about it. 100 Thieves like to play more methodical, more reserved, more defensive is probably the best way to put how 100 Thieves have been utilizing their playstyle in these official matches. Whereas FlyQuest, they're the polar opposite. They want to get in your face. They want to end these maps fast and now. And it
Ain't no team with Cart on it gonna play slow. Like, that's just not, like,
that's
it's not in
his
his blood.
identity. Well, Cart's from YWL. He's used to playing fast. And FlyQuest, so far, looking very, very good in terms of matching the tempo.
Speaking of, I mean, if FlyQuest win this one, there is also a chance we do get Cart versus YWL later on down here. Like,
yes.
that could be the one to close out the show tonight, depending on how match 3 goes. But, you know, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We got to focus on what is in front of us, and FlyQuest have to do the very same. They can't look past a team like 100 Thieves because, like we said, if 100 Thieves are able to slow the pace down and play a little bit more methodically and set their duelists up to knock them down, FlyQuest could find themselves in a map 5 situation, and victory may well have eluded them under those circumstances.
We'll see coming into this next ban draft. There's a lot of different things to think about here. Do we still see an emphasis on the Angela? The Angela isn't the greatest pick on Midtown, considering that there's a lot of small rooms that you have to deal with, as a Cart's doing a bit of explaining to his team. I mean, you talked about it, right? He's the glue guy after all. He's definitely finding ways to hype up the team. Not sure about those hand motions. Not sure how that contributes to the team morale, but, you know,
He's
we'll see
locked
if
in.
that's able
All right,
to.
he's explaining the
he's
Hulk
explaining
theorem.
the peripheral vision. You got to zone in on your own monitor.
He's explaining gamma physics. You know, he's a scientist, much like Bruce Banner himself. You know, he's just telling the team, you know, here's how it all works. Here's how we break it down, and here is how we break down and dissect 100 Thieves. As you can see, you know, they're kind of feeling the pressure, right? Like, they know, yeah, you can feel the tension in that room through Winnie's cam. He's cracking his knuckles, trying to, like, loosen up a little bit, but look at like Delena behind him. Like, bro is locked in.
Yep, and it looks like Vinny over there, right behind Winnie's head, doing a lot of talking to the team, making sure, hey, we need to lock in. We need to figure out this ban draft. We need to figure out how to shut down FlyQuest because, like we talked about, FlyQuest love to play fast. 100 Thieves like to play slow, and so far, it does look like the hare is beating the tortoise.
Well, I mean, it was a tortoise's pace to get through onto this ban draft, but now let's pick up the pace and let's get through it, because enough stalling, enough waiting to see how this all shakes out. Let's get right into it. Mantis bans across the board once again, and this is the last stand here for 100 Thieves. Their tournament lives may very well depend on this ban draft, so I can understand wanting to take your time with it, but we can't wait forever, Dan.
No. Soon enough, we'll find the first adjustment, and right there,
There it is.
100 Thieves get the first pick, the first save onto the Rocket Raccoon. So 100 Thieves, maybe they look to accelerate a little more, maybe get a little more aggressive, play a little faster, try to match the tempo that FlyQuest are throwing at them.
I feel like you have to, and I do love that more teams are prioritizing the Rocket Raccoon even over the Gambit these days. You know, Gambit once upon a time was infallible. He was the
we
first
still
ban
commit
all the
Angela
time.
ban.
That's
All right.
interesting, Dan.
Way
Like
earlier too.
Yeah, like right out the gates. And on a map like Midtown, I don't know if that's necessary. I think the skybox opens up a little bit more on points B and C, but on A, there's just so many buildings and so many, just so many obstructions that you really can't get a lot of value out of the Angela. FlyQuest are playing the long game.
Yeah, we'll see if FlyQuest do get value out of it. I mean, there could have been a ban onto maybe the Wolverine, maybe the Emma Frost instead, but Angela's still a very comfortable pick for 100 Thieves, especially in the hands of TTK, who has been cooking on that one-winged angel, but now won't have access to it for what seems like to be the remainder of this series. Even if this goes to a map number 5, it feels like TTK might still not be able to play the Angela, and 100 Thieves will look to shut down the BRB on FlyQuest's side by taking that Rocket Raccoon one-sided.
I think that's likely to force that Protect for FlyQuest to be something like the Luna Snow, because you want to make sure that you have the best backline available for what 100 Thieves are going to be coming out the gate with. And a one-sided rocket is very threatening. I think, you know, we've seen how many fights can be won or turned based on a CYA. A Loki ban is going to come out as well, and I do also kind of like that. Remember back when Loki Rocket used to be like a meme backline? Like, you know, duplicating a CYA was like something unheard of. That would be like a profoundly dumb play, but now it's kind of the
Don't
meta.
tell that
if
to
you can
Hoodie
get
and
through with-
Aztec. Don't tell about that.
Okay, well,
we're not going to talk about that incident.
Don't do it at the same time, at least. You know, if you can stagger it out, it works. But a one-sided Loki now for FlyQuest, and that does mean that they'll have the double flush.
Yep, double flush online for FlyQuest, 100 Thieves. How do you respond to this? Because already FlyQuest are coming in, guns blazing, with 2 decks of cards ready to just paper cut you down to death, it feels like. Whereas 100 Thieves, where do you go from here? As the Gambit will be the final save. So both sides seemingly will have access to Starward unless FlyQuest do want to shut it down, which I think would be the best option here.
I mean, they took away one of the best tools for this Gambit Loki. It's not really a team up, but it might as well be in the ways that we've seen
There
it be
it is.
played. There's the Star-Lord band coming out, so no Galactic Flush, no Cosmic Yarn Amplifier to boost it up, or you're still gonna have the CYA rather, but you're not gonna have the Galactic Legend to make use of that CYA. It's still gonna be quite threatening on its own, but I don't know. It's a little bit rough to call. Like who do you think won that pick and ban phase?
And it feels like both teams identifying what kind of team identity they want to go for, and then they just double down on it, right? It feels like FlyQuest really want to emphasize the win condition of the Gambit and the Loki, whereas 100 Thieves, they're trying to rely things elsewhere, right? They get the Gambit, they get the Rocket Raccoon, 2 very aggressive strategists that want to use their strategist ults, again, aggressively, right? You want to make sure you get the first cast, make sure to try to eliminate the rest of the opposing team before they even have a chance to react. And 100 Thieves, you can see that they're trying to adjust, right? Go away from the more defensive approach and then go something more higher tempo.
They're gonna have to turn up the tempo here. And, I mean, FlyQuest, like, Ultron and Phoenix, no Hela coming out from Tuzi, and no Elsa either. I mean, Phoenix still quite strong, especially in the hands of Tuzi. This is an interesting defensive lineup coming out here for FlyQuest, but for 100 Thieves, amongst all 100 of them, there's only one life left, so they're gonna have to make the most out of this one. We'll see what they're able to cook up here. Is, you know, like we said, we gotta turn up the tempo here one way or another to see who comes out ahead.
Might be a crazy read from FlyQuest. Zealous switch already on the Invisible Woman, identifying that, hey, 100 Thieves could easily roll out on the Wolverine. And with a premeditated pick coming in from FlyQuest onto the Invisible Woman, as Self tries to go for Wolverine Arrows, there's the power of the Invisible Woman. Use the Force Physics to get Self out of that Feral Leap to make sure that Cart stays alive.
Yeah, Cart is still alive. He's still thriving, and 100 Thieves not able to get what they were looking for in that first exchange, so 40 seconds already bled out, nearly a minute through, and now Cart getting all up into Landis' face. He's trying to ignore him, but he has a problem that just seemingly won't go away, forcing the attention and taking the high ground away, and even forcing him all the way back to try and get some heals. But Cart is relentless going in again. You saw him diving across your screen like something out of Scooby-Doo, but when you unmask the Lana, you're not gonna like what lies beneath. There is a demon beneath that facade.
Oh, wait.
Tuesday now with the End Song Inferno taken to the skies, and 100 Thieves are just gonna back up and let that one go.
That means an uncontested CYA for Melania. Not sure why
sure
Tuesday
does.
pulled the trigger there. Yep, Melania's going to immediately take advantage of it. FlyQuest not able to burn it down in time, but overall, still a 1-for-1 trade overall, as the rest of FlyQuest need to find a way to, at the very least, hold on. Tuesday going down means that Techie's going to force to use the portal, and Tuesday already switching back to the Elsa Bloodstone that has been so good for FlyQuest.
And in dire straits, you got to bring out your best tool. So let's see, as now it's going to be all tools on deck. Tuesday with a nice little dash to safety there, and you can see 100 Thieves when that portal comes out. They just sort of scatter to try and lock down Cart again. Delana wants to try and pressure him out. Symbiotic Resilience already forced, and Cart is going to have to get into a good position for the healing, but you're going to need so much more than healing as the Raging Royal Flush is coming online alongside the Psionic Seduction. Vinny has managed to find 2. Velocity with the Invisible Boundary, but it's a day late and $1 short as FlyQuest just don't have the numbers right now, and 100 Thieves continuing to march this Cart forward as Vinny goes in, trying to take down one more. Self with a nice little 2-piece off the back of that Feast of the Abyss, and 100 Thieves are eating this attack alive, and they will claim point A.
The Righteous Cross crucifies 2, and the first checkpoint already unlocked for 100 Thieves. And you can see the tempo already accelerated from 100 Thieves. No longer are they playing more reserved, more defensive, and now they're starting to make more aggressive moves, right? TTK with the Silent Seduction, using it aggressively rather than reactively to try to team it up with Winnie on the Royal Flush to enable TTK with all the movement speed, all of the damage boost to not only crowd control the rest of FlyQuest, but also try to take them down.
Rage of Ultron's going to be on deck for FlyQuest and not a whole lot else, so that's going to have to be the opening salvo to try and force 100 Thieves back. But Delana is up on an angle and is pressuring him down from the sides, and Melio doesn't feel all too comfortable trying to go in to confirm that elim. Tuesday will be able to do so, though. TTK can be res right back up. Good kidnap there onto Vinny, and there's not going to be a BRB this time around, so Vinny is gone, and yeah, what a tackle that ends up coming out from Cart, and it's going to be 100 Thieves repelled for the time being.
Stabilization for FlyQuest. Give themselves a little bit of that map space to work with. Zelos is being bought time to stack up that Raging Royal Flush. Melania is threatening that CYA though. Where does 100 Thieves place this amplifier? How do you use it aggressively? Because right now it might be a golden opportunity as Tuesday's looking for an opportunity himself.
I mean, the opportunity was seized. It was Tuesday getting taken for a ride, and TTK is there to clean him up. Good play coming out from Self, and 100 Thieves walking around this corner, getting this Cart rolling, and in fact trying to roll over Cart as well, as Delana again has him in his sights and has managed to build a Ruby Rage off of all the damage that he has amassed, and is just going to be waiting for an opportunity to do it. And there's not a whole lot that FlyQuest can do once that does inevitably come out. They got to be on the lookout. Cart, though, taking down Delana with a nice little tackle, but has to get out. Forced to pop the bubble, and TTK now going to lock him down with the Sonic Seduction. Catches Techie in deep as well, and now Zelos is in all by himself. He's going to get bursted down there by TTK, and this looks to be the cap coming through for 100 Thieves as FlyQuest are running out of members to contest. Melia will take down Delana, and Cart is on the Cart, but as he gets carried away, the Cart comes through.
Yeah, he's going to get staggered for very long. Delio also going down as well. So, second checkpoint. Quick as you like it. Tuesday's able to find an exit trade onto Winnie, so if 100 Thieves want to go for a close hold, they need to be a little bit more extra careful because it's only going to be Melania sustaining the rest of 100 Thieves, but FlyQuest gonna have to go for the reset one more time. Melio does have another cycle of the Rage of Ultron to give FlyQuest some of that room to entry through the space that 100 Thieves already have for themselves. And if things go awry, Velocity is also there as an extra backup mechanism.
It's the benefit of the Ultron. That Rage of Ultron does charge up so fast that you can use it to bait out resources from 100 Thieves, but they're not taking the bait. They just simply back up and let him throw his little temper tantrum up in the sky. And Cart is going to be quite angry as well. Going to go for that World Breaker Hulk, but his world is being shattered elsewhere as 100 Thieves have managed to find 4 members, and it's just going to be him and Melio against the world right now. And with the weight of the world overcoming them, 100 Thieves will keep this cart rolling.
Beast of the Abyss plus the Amplifier just does so much damage onto Velocity. He had no chance to pop the Fate of both worlds, even if he wanted to. It just felt like even if he did use it preemptively, he was still going to get exploded because of that 40% damage amplification coming in from Melania. And now closing in already. Look how close the convoy is to that 3rd checkpoint. And with everyone on 100 Thieves going so aggressive, FlyQuest need to find a way to defend this.
And managed to take down Vinny. Res right back up, so every time FlyQuest finds something, it's taken away from them. Velocity with the dance floor. Melio didn't get the memo, though, got caught in a corner all by himself, and that'll be another loss for FlyQuest as they have to back up. The dance floor expires, the Rage and Royal Flush coming out, potentially the Death Blow. The Meteor M from Techie, it just doesn't work. Self just carves right through it, and now Cart is going to be trying to stall this one out as long as he possibly can, give FlyQuest anything to cling to, but 100 Thieves are relentless. They're laying siege to this final point here, and they will have it if they can just get rid of these last couple members of FlyQuest. Zelos gives them a lifeline with the Rage and Royal Flush, and 100 Thieves are going to give it respect. Back up as Tuzi cleans up Self. 100 Thieves going to wait for their moment.
Yeah, 100 Thieves, they do have the CYA. They're not going to pull the trigger just yet. Maybe just to bump up their ultimate economy just a little bit. Wait for TTK to get his online. Vinny on the feast as well. 1 minute left on the clock. So 100 Thieves still have a bit of time to work with. But the problem is, if this fight goes long, it's going to be effectively final fight territory.
Psionic Seduction is going to force out that Goddess of Death.
Oh,
and
what a charm.
Velocity got caught out by the Psionic Seduction. All alone, just you and Mother always knows best. TTK going to help shut down Tuzi. Cart again trying to stall out his namesake, but he's kicked to the side, kicked to the curb, and 100 Thieves will complete the cap here on Midtown.
Great adjustment from 100 Thieves. Instead playing defensively, they go offense, and even more offense. And that's exactly what 100 Thieves did. You can call all the way back in the Bandra, right? Getting the save onto the Rocket Raccoon and the Gambit means that they really want to keep this tempo up and make sure that 100 Thieves have the tone setting to make sure that they are the ones to start these fights. And so far, it has done just that. FlyQuest just felt like every single fight just were in the back foot. And it just felt like FlyQuest, they needed to rely on things like Tuzi or Melio to come up huge in these clutches. But with how fast 100 Thieves are going, there was just no opportunity.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it slow. It was definitely fast, but it was still methodical. And just so many picks coming through and so many of these fights that start to snowball out of control. And FlyQuest like they really didn't have much of a defense on point B, right? Like they had that little high ground hold for a while, but once they got dislodged, like they never got their feet back beneath them, and 100 Thieves able to just bully them all the way back to a full cap. So for FlyQuest, the gauntlet has been thrown out. Can you match that progress? Can you get the full cap and take this to extra innings? Otherwise, you better be ready for a long night, my friends, because map 5 now looms overhead.
Let's see how both of these teams ignite the battle. Spaces chat, you can spam ad in his chat right now, as both teams looking to duke it out one more round here on Midtown at the very least. Maybe we go to overtime, maybe not, but it's all up to FlyQuest if they're able to match what 100 Thieves did.
100 Thieves with a interesting defensive look here, playing for the Adam Warlock. Delana on this Adam Warlock has got them some wins before, and you can see Vinny lurking overhead, trying to pick his spot. Tuzi, though, does catch out TTK. Good hook and good Trooper's Fist with the Cloak of Levitation is going to get TTK back to the rest of his team. Melio on the Punisher is going to look to just try and burst the front line down, and TTK couldn't get to safe harbor, and now with the shotgun shots ringing out, 100 Thieves on the back foot. Regen domain forced out. The Cocoon from Delana potentially forced out as well, if he should so choose to come back into this life, but that might be a fool's errand, as it seems like FlyQuest getting the better of this one. TTK shuts down Melio, but that's all that they can hang their hat on, as FlyQuest will get this cart rolling.
Yeah, the win condition was clear for 100 Thieves. Tried to get Delana online and ready to go with the Karmic Revival, but with how fast FlyQuest were doing, they were able to make the correct move, right? The way you shut down this Adam Warlock win condition is by going fast as heck, and FlyQuest have been doing just that with a sheer amount of front to back damage. Tuzi and Melio doing a lot of work on the Punisher and the Bucky and 100 Thieves. If they want to go for any sort of engagement, they're gonna have to very least have to survive the harassment from Melio and Tuzi.
Well, CYA is going to help them with this engagement as they just wipe FlyQuest. 4 members all falling immediately once Winnie pulls the trigger on that one, and that's going to be a great way to get 100 Thieves back in the driver's seat. But curiously, Delana swapped off of the Adam Warlock and over onto the Cyclops, so no resurrections and now no portals.
Well, at the very least, it's more upfront damage in favor of 100 Thieves. Tried to, at the very least, match what FlyQuest are throwing at them. But the thing is, FlyQuest have 6 ultimates.
And they are about to let him rip. Velocity already with the God of Mischief, holding for his moment to let this Raging Royal Flush rip. And now is go time. Invisible Boundary from Melania to try and absorb the damage, but he's going to be caught inside. A cracking impact
Holy
on top
wombo.
of a strangling prison. And Tuzi is the warden of this prison, and he has judged you harshly. 3 in the fight, and a Trooper's Fist for the quad, looking for the Penta. He's got Vinny in his sights. He's going to pull him in. Symbiotic resilience, but how resilient can you really be under the oppressive regime of Tuzi? And he's gonna find the Hexa. A 6K, a full team wipe for Tuzi.
It got so close. 100 Thieves managed to find a way to claw themselves back into that fight. And Tuzi looks for another reset, isn't able to find it onto Delana, but he's still able to find it. That's an unofficial 7 and 8K for Tuzi. Somebody stop this man.
Ain't nobody stopping him with a Raging Royal Flush. He's feeling himself. Melio is going to be good for 2 more in that fight, and 100 Thieves just keep throwing themselves into the grinder, but FlyQuest come out with that first point cap, and now we're onward to point B, and I mean, FlyQuest have full control over the real estate here, Dan.
Oh my goodness. Tuzi just made sure that no one on 100 Thieves had any room to breathe. Just stamps them all out. Some of them stamp them out again as Tuzi does so much work in that fight, making sure they get the first checkpoint, and also allowing both Cart and Melio to hold on to their ultimates because they know that Tuzi will be enough to shut down 100 Thieves because of that combo with the Strangling Prison into the Kraken Impact, the Wombo combo from Teki and Tuzi, providing to pay dividends for FlyQuest, and now 100 Thieves looking to try to find a way to clap back, but with their ultimate economy exhausted, FlyQuest have the upper hand.
The final judgment is going to force 100 Thieves to turn tail and run. They'll be able to dodge the lion's share of the damage, but now they're forced into a locker room, literally stuffed into a locker, bullied, and Teki wants to keep the bullying going. A Banhammer onto the back line, and Tuzi going to strike in with a Kraken Impact, but Self is able to return fire, take him down, and Melania will fell Teki, and that means that 100 Thieves are going to be able to win this fight and lay claim to the card, get themselves back in control.
Great placement of the Raging Royal Flush from Winnie, allowing 100 Thieves to rush down FlyQuest. Huge investment as well from FlyQuest, utilizing 3 ultimates to try to, at the very least, keep it a little more competitive to match the Raging Royal Flush. But unfortunately, because of how uncontested that Gambit ultimate was, FlyQuest kind of just ran out of gas. They're going to have to reset one more time because now the ball is in 100 Thieves' court. They have a chance to make a 3-point shot.
Cart over onto the Angela. You saw him briefly going over on the other side of your screen, but you got to focus on what's in front of you right now, and itself with that left the devil out. FlyQuest are able to withstand. I think Cart was going for a cheeky little back cap there, and it does force 100 Thieves back, and Tuzi is able to seize the moment and take down Self there. A nice Assassin's Charge coming out. Velocity with that Raging Royal Flush. TTK wants to absorb the damage to the Meteor Ram, and this time, it does not pop. It's Melio that finds himself popping, courtesy of TTK, popping off on the Magneto and keeping 100 Thieves in the driver's seat.
Minute 30 left on the clock for FlyQuest. They can afford one more reset before we go into Final Fight territory. 100 Thieves, though, now they have invested a whole bunch. All 3 ultimates, maybe 4. Yeah, 4 ultimates invested in that fight alone. Now FlyQuest, it's their turn to be in the driver's seat. Zealous needs to time this Raging Royal Flush well, as 100
The
Thieves
time is now.
don't
There's
have a
no better
response.
time than the present. When Winnie doesn't have his, you want to try and find some elims, and Tuzi
There
goes
it is.
right after Winnie. Teki there as well to ensure that KO comes through. He'll be res back up, so there is an opportunity for a Royal Flush here, but no one is going to be here to receive those cards. As Cart and FlyQuest, they keep this cart rolling, and 100 Thieves, one more chance on the defense.
Yep, Zealous even invests the Raging Royal Flush, but now Winnie, it's his turn with it. Delana's gonna charge up the portal, try to contest right before the second checkpoint. It will come in time, and the Raging Royal Flush is active.
Clark rocks from Tuzi to try and pop a U-turn, takes the members of 100 Thieves away. Heaven's Retribution from Cart to try and catch them out, but Vinny taking down Velocity and 100 Thieves. They clap back heavy. itself is going to be thrown by Zelos, but it's just not enough. He'll be res right back up, and every loss that 100 Thieves got, it comes right back. And FlyQuest, they have to make a play here. Techie swapping over onto the Doctor Strange, trying to go for a portal play. There's only 12 seconds left, and FlyQuest are relying on Melio to come up clutch with this Let the Devil Out. No strategist ultimates for 100 Thieves, but they've got the spawn advantage. They've got a portal coming through that they got to deal with, and now Techie coming through, poking his head out, but you can see the dive from Vinny, trying to split FlyQuest off. As FlyQuest, it's now or never. You got to seize your destiny, my friends. You want to go to the next round. You want to eliminate 100 Thieves. It's here. It's now. It's Melio with Let the Devil Out, and he is battering Melania with those Billy clubs, and the Royal Flush coming through as well from Velocity, and he'll be able to find the Elim onto Delana. Vinny falling as well, and 100 Thieves will be evicted from this point. FlyQuest will have point B. It's onward and upward to point number 3, but can they complete the full cap?
That's the big question. I got a little worried for Melio. I wasn't sure if he was able to receive the Gambit ultimate. He was able to towards the tail end of the Devil Out, but it was enough damage to wipe out the backline of 100 Thieves, and then you rip apart the front line because there is no more sustain. And FlyQuest doing a great job at taking full advantage of the Raging Royal Flush. Shout out to Techie as well, providing extra pressure on the Vanguard Deadpool, making sure that he has the Banhammer onto the backline member of 100 Thieves, as they're going to have to try to make an aggressive move here with the CYA to at the very least zone away FlyQuest.
All right, Cart is going to be a whole lot more than zoned away. All right, his head got zoned from his shoulders there, courtesy of a couple of cards coming down. Rage amplified by Winnie, and FlyQuest have to give up control of the cart. Now 100 Thieves can hold this choke point, and they can choke this time bank down from 36 seconds all the way to 0 and force FlyQuest to utilize their time bank just to get out the front door. There's a Banhammer that goes in deep, but the peeling is going to be good. 100 Thieves, though, they have to give space in order to make that happen. Keep Self in the fight. He's holding on to Let the Devil Out, so with the Banhammer on him, they had to make sure that he was in this fight, and now FlyQuest get a little bit of breathing room. They get an opportunity to make a play, but what's it going to be? Zelos holding on to that Raging Royal Flush. Tuzi with the Glartrox, but it whips. He's not able to find what he's looking for. The Royal Flush coming through from Zelos, but there's nothing left to combo with. Meteor Realm dangling overhead from TTK. He strikes down with Righteous Vengeance, and he pummels Tuzi and 100 Thieves, letting the Devil Out. Self going in deep. Vinny, Feast of the Abyss, they're feeling themselves, and they're feeling like we got one more map in us today, as 100 Thieves stand their ground on Midtown, and FlyQuest are now behind the 8 ball.
We'll see. The stalls are in, but there is no portal. I think it was on cooldown. We'll see. But 100 Thieves, give us a 5 mapper. We're going all the way. Tournament life on the line for both of these partner teams, and despite the odds, 100 Thieves make the perfect adjustment, go a little more aggressive, and that has paid dividends here on Midtown.
Well, both teams now on life alert. One last life left to give. One last map to decide the fate of these two partner teams. Only one can carry on in this tournament, and there's only one spot left in mid-season finals. You know both of these teams want it, and they are going to go down swinging if they go down at all. One of them is going down. Map number 5 is going down. On the other side of this break, Dan, don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
쓰러지지만 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자청을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 세계 운명 오랜 시간 간직해온 열망 까만 밤의 빛처럼 빛나 네 눈앞에 바로 어떤 나라 탑을 딱 봐도 superstar 딱 보면 모르나 널 지킬 나란 걸또 지켜볼수록 점점 빠져들어 카리스마 넘쳐 흘러 oh yeah 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 혼란한 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지만 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자청을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내게 주어진 운명 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래들의 승리와 명예 The fate of it both the world is in our hands 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자청을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 세계 운명
Remember the dusk, the lights gripping tightly, trapping all those fighting souls. But yet, across the world, I see you.
These two teams, man, they have gone the distance once before, and now they must do it once more. It's a 5-mapper to decide who gets to stay alive in this tournament bracket. Dan, could it really have ended any other way between these two?
Now we're in a effective best-of-1 scenario. Both teams, their health bars are blinking red. Tournament life on the line for both of the partner teams here. And now, where do we go for map number 5? Because you and I, CB, we've been talking about it in the green room. We've been pretty much spot on in terms of where these teams are going to go. But before we start talking about it a little more, we got to talk about the MVP from that Midtown game.
And I don't think anybody is going to be surprised to hear that the MVP is once again TTK. I mean, whether it's the Magneto, whether it's the Angela, you can't target ban this guy because it doesn't matter what he plays. He's just one of the best at every Vanguard in the game, and that's becoming a fast problem for FlyQuest. Sure, you want to ban Angela so Techie can get the better of that exchange. Well, now you've got to win the ground war, and Bro is a general when it comes to that particular war. 32-7 on the Magneto. 29k damage. Like, Bro is the definition of an Avengers level threat.
I mean, the meta also favors him a little more, right? Devil Dino has taken a step back, although TTK has been very, very strong on that Devil Dinosaur, but with that out of the way, it gives more room to things that he is more comfortable on, like the Angelo, like the Magneto. So 2 picks already becoming that Meteor just immediately got popped because FlyQuest have been going for the more aggressive option of trying to pop that Meteor before TTK even has a chance to slam it down. And that's the playstyle of FlyQuest, right? You want to play as aggro as possible, but it looks like 100 Thieves here on Midtown definitely matched it, and you can see it on the scoreboard, right? A lot more final hits, a lot more damage done because 100 Thieves are starting to get a little more proactive.
And you can maybe make a case for Delana as the MVP with 14 final hits, but you could also argue that, you know, with how aggro FlyQuest like to play, he might not have been able to get those final hits or that much damage without his front line being clear. And TTK made sure that nobody was pressuring my hit scan. He has got a shooting gallery and he is going to use it. But over on the other side, like, you want to look at the scoreboard, look at Tuzi with 21 final hits and still coming up with an L. I think that one's got a sting, and maybe, like, that might be a sticking point going into this next map, Dan, because it's like, it's FlyQuest map pick, and Tuzi just put up LeBron numbers, and it just wasn't enough.
Someone save Tuzi right now, because the supporting cast needs to lock things in. I mean, Tuzi always is consistently outperforming within the entire lobby. It feels like he's usually like first, maybe second best player in the lobby in every single one of these maps. And he's going to have to come up clutch one more time. I can see it in his glasses. He's doing a little work on the Daredevil. Or at least he's...
Yeah.
Maybe? It does look like it's Daredevil.
Are we? Is that where our analysis has gone now, Dan?
Yeah,
we're looking at the
look
reflections in the players' glasses to see what it is that they're going to play. I mean, okay. Well, listen. All right, maybe teams got to stop wearing glasses. We can't leak the strats, especially when the stakes are this high. You can feel the tension being ratcheted up once more as it is all up to this one map. FlyQuest to their tournament lives hang in the balance, but so too do 100 Thieves. But the ball is in FlyQuest court, and I was predicting that court would be like Shin Shibuya, but you were also talking maybe Domination or maybe a Lower Manhattan. Before they give it away, quick, 3, 2, 1, call it.
Lower Manhattan. Final answer.
All right, you're all in on Lower Manhattan. Final answer.
Yep.
I'm betting it all on Black, baby. I'm saying it's going to be Shin Shibuya. That's just my guess, because I know how FlyQuest like to play fast. They like to play dive. I think Cart is gonna. Yeah, that's right. I'm on the ball when it comes to these map predictions.
I think you actually might be 4 for 4.
Yeah, like you know what? I'm goated. I'm just goated. I'm just different like that. And you know who else is? It's Cart. Whether it's the Venom, whether it's the Hulk, it doesn't matter. Those are both 2 very popular picks here. But here's something that's interesting is we've also seen a lot of players try and go for a counter dive sort of strategy. So I'm wondering if one team or the other might try and pull out the Penny Parker as like a secret weapon.
And just a little fun fact, right? This is the 3rd time Shin Shibuya has been played in the entirety of Stage 1 Americas. This is a very unpopular map for these professional teams, and the wild card has been played for FlyQuest. We're going to a very unpopular map, maybe to try to throw 100 Thieves a little off guard in terms of being a little bit more unfamiliar with the map as a whole, because Shin Shibuya, again, just not the more popular map. 100 Thieves are forced on the defensive side. FlyQuest looking to set the tone here.
And Remix looking to make sure that these ban phases for 100 Thieves are on point, because remember,
the locks
are getting changed. Like 100 Thieves got to qual, otherwise Space is gonna lock him out. And it's like, all right, well, I guess I'll hit up Craigslist, try and find some new roommates. Do people still use Craigslist? Is that still a thing?
I feel like there's other platforms for that kind of use case. I feel like
I like Discord. I think like that's probably a good place to find roommates.
Ah, yes.
All right. Well,
yes, Discord. But either way.
Well, back to the ban phase, and not a whole lot has changed up in this map 5 situation, as I don't think either team really wants to take any big risks, you know, when everything is on the line right now. 100 Thieves gonna once again reach for that one-sided rocket, and that did win them the day on Midtown. But FlyQuest with the ban onto the Angela, and I think that's a better look for a map like this rather than Midtown.
I mean, there's a lot of verticality on Shin Shibuya. TTK would have gotten so much freedom in that open space. And FlyQuest, I mean, we like predicted, right? As soon as TTK popped off on D'Angelo in map number 1. He's not going to get access to it as one-sided Rocket Raccoon for 100 Thieves, and the Cyclops and the Gambit will be confirmed to one-sided.
Every other time, FlyQuest has let the Gambit go by until the very end, and 100 Thieves have used their Protect on it if they still have access to it. This time they don't. They'll lock themselves into that one-sided Cyclops, but that now means that the weight of the world is going to be on Delena's shoulders, and a Daredevil ban just to tighten the screws a little bit more. Take away Self's greatest weapon.
A little bit surprising that the Daredevil was more prioritized over the Wolverine.
Yeah, Tuzi was just practicing that.
Yeah, you're effectively giving away the team up for 100 Thieves. You now have access to the Cyclops and the Wolverine combo, and now that there's open space on Shin Shibuya, the Wolverine is going to have a little bit more freedom, right? The one weakness for Wolverine is not being able to play very well in open space, and now with the team up, that literally fixes that one weakness.
Speaking of weaknesses, there's not a whole lot of them for FlyQuest. The Rogue Gambit team up and a Desperation Loki ban that has to come out for 100 Thieves just to try and mitigate some of the damage that they know is coming their way. I hope your counter dive is good, 100 Thieves, because you're going to need every bit of it, as FlyQuest are going to be up first on the attacking side. It's all or nothing, Dan. It's all come down to this. Only one of our two partner teams will live to see another day in this tournament. We'll see who that is once those spawn doors open.
And we can take a look at how 100 Thieves decide to roll out here. Because they're going to be leaving the spawn room first, we're going to have a better idea of what 100 Thieves want to roll out on. I can assure you, it's not going to be triple that we've been seeing other teams decide to roll out on, as both teams definitely did not want to go towards that approach. I mean, maybe on Midtown, 100 Thieves did try to go for it, putting Delena on the Adam Warlock, but because he got exploded so damn quickly, there was just no chance for a Karma Revival in play.
100 Thieves, their chances, again, as we said earlier, are going to rely mostly on Delena being able to make the most of the Cyclops pick, so he's going to be up on the high ground, and FlyQuest already have that scouted. They know that that's exactly where he's going to be playing, so Cart is going to open up on the Doctor Strange, and they're going to teleport straight on in to that high ground and deny Delena the angle that he wants. In fact, even going to go and try and sneak in the back door.
And Kart's going to immediately swap over to a higher mobility Vanguard. It's going to be D'Angelo, the option, as Techie will be on the Rogue. Will team up alongside Velocity with the Gambit. See if that's able to provide the extra verticality that they need, because FlyQuest, remember, they like to play fast. They like to play aggro. Can Cart find that opening pick here?
Well, he has found Delena in a narrow corridor and will force him in there. Techie is able to take down Self. They looking to try and contest the point, but Tuzi, with the damage coming out from that Psionic Crossbow, is going to force out the Symbiotic Resilience and force the swing out. That should be the first tick coming through for FlyQuest, and indeed it is. And 100 Thieves now stuck in this narrow corridor, can't quite break out of it just yet, so the second tick comes through as well, and the clock is not on 100 Thieves' side, but Self with the Strange Portal is, so they can now mount a defense once more as Delena puts down Velocity, and Tuzi gets caught out. 100 Thieves able to stand tall for now.
All right, full neutral means that the portal recontest will be good. Self even jumping back into his own spawn room to switch back to the Wolverine. Very smart play, as I feel like the 200 IQ coming in from Self was too much, and the lobby kind of just EMP'd itself as we head into a pause.
I'm wondering if that might have been a FlyQuest pause. Maybe given 100 Thieves a taste of their own medicine from way back in preseason. We might still be a little bit salty about the Dallas R fiasco, but we got to ready up here sooner or later, because 2 ticks already coming through for FlyQuest. 100 Thieves able to deny the third and win the fight, but this next fight when it comes through is going to hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ultimates already ready to go, and I'm sure both teams are going to try to let it rip as soon as they're given the opportunity to do so, as both 100 Thieves and FlyQuest, just to restate it one more time, both teams are very, very tense right now because of, we're in map 5, do or die scenario. You win, you move on to the next best of 5 series, and then get a chance to go into the mid-season finals, because if you win the series, you're not clear for mid-season finals yet. You still have one more best of 5, and either way, whichever team comes out on top, you're going to be gassed before the next series.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, is you're trying to save at least a little bit in the tank for later series, because you've got more elimination matches, even another one later on tonight. This is not the last that we have seen of at least one of these two teams, but And maybe the last gasp that we see from both of them is they have no choice but to lay it all out on the line, or they won't even make it to those next elimination matches. And you can see the tension painted on everybody's face. Like, Cart, you can tell, like, he's usually the guy who cuts the tension, but he can feel the pressure right now. You saw Vinny, you saw TTK. All of them look so calculated right now. Like, they're looking at every angle, peering into every reality, and trying to find the ones where they come out on top. And it's a coin flip any way you look at it.
And we're gonna have to see if that map 5 scenario, right, do or die, affects any of the playstyle from both of these teams, right? Because you're in a do or die scenario, is there going to be moments where teams are going to be a little more hesitant to make those risky plays, right? If the play falls flat, you might be the reason that you lose out on this match as a whole, and it's just going to be haunting you throughout all of that off season, right? The break between now and into stage 2, you're going to be replaying those moments over and over and over again. And maybe both teams don't want to be in that situation. As Delena's like, who in the world just left?
They've both been in that situation before. I think the miasma of defeat is a scent that both of these teams are quite familiar with. You know, everybody has felt that familiar sting, and they don't want to feel it again, Dan. They want to go out with a performance that they can be proud of. And in fact, they don't want to go out at all. There's still that one land spot up for grabs, and either of these two partner teams could be the ones to reach out and take it. But in the way is their opposition, and like, you can tell everybody, it's painted on their face. Delena, he's not yawning anymore. Eyes wide open, locked in. Remix is back. Went to go hydrate. Went to go check the locks, I think. Make sure that Space didn't already get ahead of himself.
A little bit of a hydration break, it looks like. Remix came back with a cup. Either it's for himself or for one of the Thieves players, as Winnie definitely feeling the pressure, but he's showing off the good vibes to make sure that everyone is calm, because map number 5, you win, you move on. You lose, you're done. No mid-season finals for you, as soon enough we'll get back into this match here on Shibuya, which again has been a very unpopular map here in Stage 1 Americas.
I think it's going to be very unpopular for the fans of whatever team comes up on the losing side here. I think, you know, they're both going to be wishing that they would remove that one again, but I kind of want to talk about, you know, as we're, you know, looking at the player camps, the stark difference between the background for Delena and the background for Tuzi. Tuzi doesn't have a whole team house. He's not there with the rest of the gang. And you kind of see that vibe shift, right? Once Remix walked back in, someone on the 100 Thieves side cracked a joke, and then it was all smiles. They're not feeling the same tension, and they might be ready for whatever comes on the other side of this pause. Whereas, you know, Tuzi, Cart, Melio, they're all in these different places, different locations, just relying on the Discord call and hoping that someone can do the very same. It's an advantage that, you know, sometimes goes acknowledged. You don't always see it on the battlefield, but now that we get to peer into their reality for a brief moment via some peeping toms through their camps, you know, we get to take note.
Yeah, we get a lot of different ideas to talk about, right? 100 Thieves being in the same room together, you got all of these people around you making sure that the vibes are well in check. Whereas FlyQuest, you talked about Cart a little bit, right? Being that glue guy to make sure that the team is in a good mental state before these maps. And speaking of maps, we are back here on Shibuya. Now both teams looking to stack up their ultimates, try to let it rip as soon as they come online. 100 Thieves looking to get the hold down, but already look at the timer on FlyQuest's side. Already half of it being expired.
Yeah, but they managed to get 2 ticks, and they only need to find one more. 100 Thieves were able to be poised under pressure. Self with that clutch TP play bought them another lifeline, and a kidnap as well is going to buy them Techie's life, and they now claim ownership of it. And FlyQuest are going to be hesitant to try and push in without their rogue at the tip of the spear. Cart is still there on a flank and looking to try and set up a pinch. Tuzi goes in. Dance the Butterfly is going to be let rip. So much damage coming through, but the CYA from Winnie is going to absorb the lion's share of it. And Song in front of Amelio to burst it down, but it doesn't matter. Tuzi didn't get the bailout, and 100 Thieves have won another fight, and now we're sub 2 minutes.
That was a body block from Self, making sure that he was able to intercept the Ensong Inferno. That keeps Winnie's CYA copy alive and well. So now 100 Thieves were able to stall out that push. FlyQuest, this is now their opportunity. They have access to the Raging Royal Flush. They will have access to the Fate of both worlds as well. Millennia needs to come up huge with the timing of the CYA to at the very least nullify FlyQuest's push.
I mean, Winnie was clutched with it before with the God of Mischief as well, and Now with that one down, like you say, it is going to be all up to Melania to time this one perfectly, but FlyQuest don't have the ultimates yet, so 100 Thieves can go aggressive with it. Delana trying to chase down his prey in 2Z. Techie will be felled again. It's going to be another pause, and this is starting to get a little bit worrisome as FlyQuest again. They fall apart. They crumble in that fight. That leading into a pause. That tells me something's wrong, and this is not a good time.
That is not a good sign. You could see the shock in Delana's face. He was so locked in, and then as soon as the pause came out, he was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah,
and then just like the entire vibe just gets iced.
Yeah, and the vibes for 100 Thieves, right? Like they're feeling themselves. Like they know it too. Like they know that this pause coming out from 100 from FlyQuest means that FlyQuest, either they do have legitimate reason to be pausing, like they are experiencing some technical difficulties and that's going to shake the mental, or the mental is already shaken and FlyQuest are just trying to bide their time, delay the inevitable. And, you know, as we have another look at the player cams, we can see Techie again. It doesn't look like the vibes are too high in the FlyQuest house right now.
Yeah, it's looking very, very quiet. Everyone just waiting to get back into this lobby. Keep themselves, you know, warmed up, you know, because the pause is going to be time to think about your next move. All 12 of these players definitely in their heads trying to figure out, hey, what do we want to do? What is our next strategic approach here? Because Techie, I mean, we talked about how good he is as a player and him going on side in preseason, now coming into stage 1, trying to redeem himself. And with this FlyQuest roster going on that huge glow up, Hopefully
I think
this run doesn't end here.
I think he's been a major part of that glow up, and I think he's made a name for himself, and I do think he'll continue to do so. But, you know, for a player, for a competitor, for someone of this caliber, it's not enough to just be good enough. You want to, you know, go out with a performance that'll have people talking about you going into stage 2. And in fact, you want to go into mid-season finals. And again, that's still an opportunity for both of these two teams. But for one or the other, it is, you can kind of feel it slipping away, and FlyQuest still grasping at it, still trying to find that winning formula, Dan. And I feel like, you know, you talk about like, what's your next move? Trying to calculate what your next move is. I think 100 Thieves they're doing that, but they're also trying to calculate what FlyQuest's next move is, how far away from that next move they are, and trying to strike first, like we saw in that last fight with the CYA.
I mean, I love the adjustment coming in from 100 Thieves just in this entire series, right? Being a little more proactive, being a little more aggressive is proving to work out for 100 Thieves. Because remember, their average map win time was like, what, 10 minutes? And that's pretty long for a map in Marvel Rivals. FlyQuest effectively win maps in half the time. And with the tempo that 100 Thieves are throwing at them, FlyQuest gonna have to reset one more time here. This is going to be very, very important. 47 seconds left on the clock means that FlyQuest, if they want to use this Raging Royal Flush, they have to use it, and they will need significant value.
At this rate, 100 Thieves, they might not need 10 minutes. They may only need 4, as we are down to 35 seconds, and it's got to be now or never for FlyQuest. Royal Flush is going to come out from Zelos, and Techie looking to get access to the back line. But Winning itself have just eviscerated the front line of FlyQuest, and there's no more mulligans to be had. TTK is going to be raised back up. Techie goes in with a Heartbreaker, but his heart is going to be the only one broken as he's carried away by Self, off so far away from his prey that he just won't be able to get back there in time. Melio on a sliver of HP. Velocity going to top him back up with the dance floor. The last thing for FlyQuest to depend on, it's going to have to be good enough, and they're going to have to try and find some elims. The Feast of the Abyss got canceled. Bro got put on Ozempic. He's still able to take down Self. That's one pick going the way of FlyQuest, but it'll be returned. Cart can't stick around to make the most out of it. And Song in front to try and burst down the CYA, but it gets canceled again. Melio can't find it, and we're not able to get this third tick. So much progress for FlyQuest, but it might be all that they could possibly ask for. As 100 Thieves, they stand tall, they stand proud, they stand stalwart, and deny FlyQuest the opportunity. And now it's gonna have to be an even more perfect defense, or it's farewell FlyQuest.
An immense amount of pressure released from 100 Thieves' shoulders. You can see it in the player cam. Shout out to production for being able to provide us with that extra little bit of content, because my word, 100 Thieves, everyone just came up huge. Not entirely sure what canceled Cart with the Feast of the Abyss, but that was a huge amount of stall potential being taken out of the window from FlyQuest. And also Self as well on the Wolverine, isolating Techie's Heartbreaker, just putting him way, way out in the in what was like the path towards the second checkpoint. And it just meant that because of how separated FlyQuest were, 100 Thieves were on the same page. But either way, it felt like FlyQuest were effectively cooked because they didn't have any strategist ultimates to rely on in order to shut down what 100 Thieves have been doing, which was the CYA. Melio even tried to use that Insult Inferno to try to shut one of those amplifiers down, but because he got burned away, that damage does not come through. And because of that play in general, meant that Melania, even if things went wrong, he was there to, at the very least, be the final nail in the coffin in this round.
FlyQuest, I don't know if they're necessarily cooked just yet because they do have 90.33% to their name, and that's going to have to be good enough. So while they may not be cooked, they can definitely feel the temperature rising, and they have to mount a stalwart defense. It's going to have to be ironclad. It's going to have to be adamantium. It's going to have to be vibranium. Whatever the strongest metals in the MCU are, FlyQuest are going to have to amass every single one of them and then some in order to stop the onslaught of 100 Thieves, as they can see victory in their sights. And in fact, Elena can see the back line of FlyQuest in his sights. He's going to take to the skies with that leaping, trying to take down Tuzi himself, cleans him up, and it's disaster now for FlyQuest. There's no rocket, so there's no res, and Tuzi is not going to be there with the damage. Self is going in with the blaster barrage. He'll teleport out, the damage already done, and 100 Thieves just waiting, picking their spot. One tick is there. FlyQuest back. Portal going to be coming out from Tuzi, so a full 6v6, nearly 2 ticks, but FlyQuest will deny the second. But can they claim a life? Can they find an Elim from the side of 100 Thieves to stop it?
It's a bit of a stalemate. Both teams looking to find the first move with their ultimates, but we're still a long way there. Melio is able to thankfully find a pick on the Self, but he's going to get brought right back. This overtime, or no, it's going to be, what, this second fight already in the second round.
It feels like overtime. It's not quite overtime
it does feel
yet.
like overtime. It's already effectively final fight territory. FlyQuest have no portal anymore, so if they go down, this is already a disaster. FlyQuest hitting the emergency button.
Card is gone. Psionic Seduction and a CYA. 100 Thieves want to press the advantage while they have it. Zelos with the invisible boundary trying to give FlyQuest a safe harbor, and they are using every inch of it, but it wasn't safe enough for Tuzi. The Rage and Royal Flush now coming out from Velocity, but is it going to be enough? He'll take down Self. That's a good opening salvo, but Delana may have the closing one. Ruby Rage, it goes wide, doesn't find what he's looking for, but what about second CYA coming out now from Winnie? Melio is going to be felled in the hands of Vinny, and TTK is good for 1, he's good for 2. There is no Tooth Fairy, there is no Easter Bunny, and there's no fairy tale ending for FlyQuest.
Oh my god, look how hype iRemix is. His locks will still be the same when he returns home to space. Huge win for 100 Thieves. They have been in this situation before. They have been in that map 5 scenario when they played against Stick Drift way back yesterday, and now coming in here. My word, 100 Thieves, the playoff buff is alive, the playoff buff is well, and they will keep themselves afloat for one more series.
It feels like 100 Thieves at times, like they have plot armor. Like it just kind of feels like you can't put this team down in fights where you feel like you should win. They come up clutch, they come up aces, and it felt like this time around, like we call out some of the star players from this one, whether it's TTK or Delana or Self. It wasn't just them. Winnie had some clutch moments as well, you know, coming through on that Royal Flush that came through from FlyQuest on the defensive side. 100 Thieves, they hold strong. Winnie's able to somehow find a KO through that, get a CYA of his own, keep the team alive. Everybody from 100 Thieves getting in there, and they will go on to live another day. One more match to be played for them, at least today, to continue on in this lower bracket, and they're going to be a threat for anybody who dares cross their path.
I mean, you got to give a shout out your flowers over to FlyQuest as well. They have played out of their minds. I mean, Tuzi putting up what almost felt like a 1v11 performance at times. And unfortunately, just was not enough. I mean, shout out to the entire FlyQuest roster. It has been one heck of a run for them here in Stage 1.
Yeah, it was a hell of a rebound, right? Like from preseason and how low they fell to how high they were able to rise. But unfortunately, this is where their ceiling is. This is where they must disembark, and this is where they will be leaving us today. As our MVP, it's gonna be Delana, 21-0, a fat donut in the casualty column there. And I mean, like, I don't even remember, like, how many final blows did he have? He had 10 on just the defensive side, and I think maybe even was able to net a few more when 100 Thieves won on the attack. And bro was clicking heads left and right, whether it was TTK setting him up, whether it was Vinny finding an Elim, and or bursting someone low and Delana finding that finishing shot. Like, this is your guy, right? This is your star player. This is your hit scan extraordinaire. And this is the guy leading this team on to the next round, one round deeper in this lower bracket.
Ooh, and now they either go up against Yeah We Lost or Stick Drift. That matchup will be up on deck, but still on the topic of this series in particular, it just felt like 100 Thieves also as well just pulled off so many different micro plays, right? Stunning out Cart from the Feast of the Abyss, also shutting down Melio's Sensal Inferno to make sure that CYA still stays alive. It's just that these tiny little plays that everyone on 100 Thieves had to do in order to coordinate a win here, especially in shutting down that Sensal Inferno. Because that's now 500 HP, it is very, very difficult to, at the very least, burn it up to make sure that the amplifier is still intact.
This is going to be 13 final hits for Delana at the end there. And he's the only one in double digits. In fact, the only one with more than 4 in the entire lobby, like literally tripling the next best over there in Vinny, and still with 1 extra final hit to spare. I hate to say that it feels like the pause has kind of snuffed out all of FlyQuest momentum, but 100 Thieves were able to collect themselves even through those pauses. Whatever the issues were, they're going to be haunting FlyQuest for quite a while, as will this budding rivalry between these two teams. But for 100 Thieves, for now, it's in the rear view. It's onward and upward.
Yep, and 100 Thieves, I mean, we talked about it, right? The playoff buff. It just feels like 100 Thieves, every time they're in a playoff situation, whether it's do or die or something along those lines, 100 Thieves just pull it out. And, I mean, every single time in playoffs, 100 Thieves just look to be next level. I'm not sure what kind of a voodoo magic that they decide to do, but it's working for them, and they barely avoided elimination here in the lower bracket. And 100 Thieves, again, like, the adjustment has been so perfect, not just in ban draft, but also in terms of the playstyle, right? Going away from defensive, going more offense, and that has surely been the winning formula here.
Let me paint you an interesting picture as well, Dan, because, 100 Thieves, they also went to map 5 against Stick Drift in the upper bracket. They're the reason Stick Drift has found themselves in this situation. We might see a reunion of them, and that one might go the distance again. And that was another one where it felt like, again, 100 Thieves just had plot armor. Stick Drift just kind of choked at the last hurdle there, and they'll have an opportunity to right that wrong if they can get through. Yeah, we lost. But for 100 Thieves, you got to be feeling good, right? Like, one of your biggest ops is a team that you've already beaten, and the only other option is, yeah, we lost to. No doubt you have been prepping for it, because they are a hard skill check when it comes to this lower bracket.
And it's just a matter of, can they carry it, right? 100 Thieves are now confirmed 1 series away from the midseason finals, and one team is only in the way, whether it be Yeah We Lost or Stick Drift. No matter how that series goes, 100 Thieves are definitely waiting. They need to rest up as much as they can, because so far in playoffs, they have played 14 total maps in playoffs alone?
Yeah, their stamina is definitely being tested as much as their mechanics and as much as their mental game. It's so rough to have to play that many games and, escape by the skin of your teeth so many times. But hey, doesn't matter, all right? Again, in the rear view, you look at what's in front of you. Hey, if it's got to be another 5 mapper, so be it. But let's look at what's in front of us, and it is an interview with the man himself. We've got Delana on the horn, ready to talk about that victory. Delana, congratulations on escaping disaster from another map 5 situation. Does that feel like a weight off of your chest?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I don't even know. You know how we won?
I feel like that Jeff in the background, like, that's got to be how you guys feel right now, right? Like, with the helmet, like, y'all are getting the war flashbacks from before.
It was war on that museum map. Like, it was just bad from us.
So I guess let's talk a little bit about that. And you don't got to leak the strats or leak the weaknesses too much, but what do you think went wrong on that museum map?
We just had 2 different play styles we wanted to play, and it was clashing in the game, in the comms, and we were just looking lost on that attack. And that was pretty much it. As soon as we locked in, it was light work. These guys suck.
I want to target the bad draft a little bit on your end, right? Were you guys kind of expecting that FlyQuest was going to target TTK on the Angela? Were you guys ready to play around that?
Yeah, we knew they were gonna ban it, but we didn't think we were gonna get it first map. That was just
Oh, hi,
crazy
TTK.
from them.
Hey.
Oh,
Speak of the devil.
Asking
Speak
you
of the
shall receive.
devil. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, we knew going in that they were gonna ban Angela. There's like nothing we could do about it.
I mean, it kind of feels like, you know, once you guys had that Angela ban coming through, you just kind of took it on the chin because you can't really ban against TTK. Like, it kind of feels like his hero pool is any Vanguard under the sun. Do you think, like, you know, let's say your life depended on it and there was, like, a Vanguard that you felt he was the weakest on, like, what would you say it is?
I don't even know.
It's
The guy's
okay
the
to say
GOAT.
nothing. It's okay.
He's the best.
It's okay to just say he's the GOAT because can't ban against that.
And then now you're gonna be
Yo.
waiting
Get out the room.
either to play either against YWL or Stick Drift. Who do you want to play against? Which one do you think will come out on top to play against you guys for that mid-season final spot?
I really want to play. Yeah, we lost. Like, we're kind of like one of the only teams that scrim them. So like, it's always fun playing them in scrim. So I just want to play them in a match, see how it is. Everyone always says, yeah, we lost. It's just different in match. So hope we get to play them.
That's kind of what I've heard, but, you know, if you've been scrimming them, then you probably feel like you know them pretty well, but the other option is Stick Drift, and again, you had a 5-mapper against them, so you have plenty of footage on them as well, so, you know, which of those two do you feel like you have the better chances against if it comes down to it?
Probably like Stick Drift, I think. It's just we lost. Like, there's just always the chance they just spawn hold you for 4 minutes and there's nothing you can do about it. So like, I'd rather just play like the default game against Stick Drift.
And I guess one more thing, right? Do you have any words to say to either Stick Drift or YWL? Because inevitably you are gonna clash heads with one team or another.
One of you guys 3-0 someone so we can play. I'm not trying to wait all day. That's it.
Bro's been waiting long enough.
He wants a quick night. These days have been long here in the Americas lately in playoffs. I cannot lie.
All right, well, thank you so much, Delana. We're gonna send you
I have
off. We're
one
gonna
more
let you
thing
get a
to
rest.
say.
Hopefully,
Oh.
go for it. Floor is yours.
Make sure to buy the 100 Thieves Deadpool bundle. We need it. That's all.
Of course, we got to get the plug in there. Buy the 100 Thieves bundle, and if they haven't earned it after a performance like that, I don't know what else they got to do, but we'll be seeing more of them later on tonight. We'll send you off for a nice little rest, hopefully not a very long one. And yeah, pound the shield. Pound the
I'm coming for you. We'll rematch. You're a Wolverine 1-3 team. We're gonna beat you all. We're coming to the top, 100 team on top.
And we'll see more of you guys later on tonight. Thank you so much, Delana, and iRemix
Thank
as
you.
well. Well,
What a way
What-
to end that interview with a bang.
what is there left to say that Remix didn't just say for us right there? And hey, bro doesn't, like, the locks ain't getting changed. He still's got a place to sleep tonight, so looking forward to it. Shout out again to Space, and shout out to 100 Thieves as they continue on in this lower bracket. And Dan, I mean, we're only halfway through tonight.
I mean, this has been an absolute pleasure of an America's debut for you and me, CB. I wouldn't have it any other way. Although we did get a sweep between Citadel and Swab, we got the cinematic 5-mapper between 100 Thieves and FlyQuest, and now I'm sure we're going to be here for a long night, because now we got Stick Drift up against Yeah We Lost, and I feel like that could also go the distance as well.
Yep, if the first half of the evening was cinema, I'm afraid we are only in Act 2. Act 3 has quite a bit to follow, but we are going to be passing